Committee. This is the Wednesday, May 31st morning session of the Portland City Council. Good morning, Keelan. It'll be afternoon soon enough. Please call the roll.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Commissioners. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Maps.
Here.
Rubio.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. We'll now hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum.
Good morning. Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with the City Council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimonies. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you're a lobbyist. If you're representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Thank you. First up is communications, item number 424, please.
Request of Kathleen Ulrich to address council regarding pedestrian easement at McCormick Pier Condos. They canceled their request.
Very good. 425. Next individual, please.
Request of Bruce Barnes to address council regarding drugs, homelessness, crime, and environmental impact.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Is this on?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Good morning, City Council and Mayor. My name is Bruce Barnes. I've been a lifetime resident of 58 years of the Northwest. And I came to your first City Council meeting that was back in person and talked to you guys about the Clean Water Act, about the damage that the homeless were doing to the wetlands, to our community. And I'm here to talk to you today about the single biggest cause of what's going on in our community, and that is the Harm Reduction Act, where you guys are giving out heroin needles to drug addicts and expecting them to be responsible with them, right? I picked up 8 buckets full of heroin needles in the last month. I've watched numerous people in seizures and everything else, and we're not doing anything about this, right? So my question to you is, how socially irresponsible is it to give out drug addicts needles to put poison in their system? Is it any different than leaving a gun that I can't even possess in the city of Portland loaded to defend myself anymore? But all the homeless have them in their tents that are stolen. So my question is, what are we going to do about this? I know you guys have got some sort of plan, but it's not good enough. Businesses are moving out. People do not feel safe in the community. And the thing that we're paying taxes on is police, fire, roads, and what else? What's the fourth one? Do you know? Safety, right? Nobody feels safe here anymore. Nobody's in downtown Portland anymore. It's not a vibrant city anymore, right? Thousands of cars are getting stolen a year. The crime rate's through the roof. 1 out of 5 vehicles pulled over are stolen vehicles. It all lays on your shoulders right here and Multnomah County Councils, right? And I know we all want to do something about it, but it just seems to me hey, excuse me, sir, I'm talking. Counselor, can I get your attention, please?
Sir, go ahead and continue your testimony, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So anyways, my question is, what are we going to do, right? How do we solve this problem, right? It's a massive drug problem. The mental illness comes after the drugs, right? The mental illness comes after the drug abuse. My brother was a drug addict till he was 40 years old. I can tell you all about it, except for 2 massive strokes. Now he's like dealing with an infant. So what are we going to do so other families aren't impacted by this, right? And that's why I'm here to testify today about that. And not only am I testifying about that, but the ADA people that are here, right, that cannot get down the sidewalks because they're just encamped with homeless tents, that nonprofits are putting out purposely to continue and perpetuate the homelessness because the people aren't even living in them. They're setting them out purposely because the nonprofits are afraid that they're not going to get their money from the state, the city, or the counties, right? okay? It's like an industrial complex where nonprofits have entwined themselves with government, and you guys know all the leaders of these nonprofit groups, right? So we got to do something better than we're doing to make a vibrant city. You've got Walmarts that have moved out, Cracker Barrels that have moved out, major job producers, and the low-income people were relying on the cheaper groceries and stuff from, you know, Walmart stores. So
Thank you.
we got to do something different here, sir. You know, we
Thank you.
all do.
Thank you. And I appreciate your testimony, and I hope you'll hang out for the remainder of the day because we're going to be talking a lot of the strategies that we're pursuing as a city. You've provided a perspective, one that I've heard others share, and I respect your opinion. But there are people on the other side of the equation.
And I get that. But have you ever ridden the light rail, sir?
Of course I have.
Okay, have you seen what's going on?
I'm not here to debate you.
Well, I know
We've heard
that.
your
It's like a
public
mobile homeless
testimony.
camp now and a drug trafficking deal. People
We
don't feel
run
unsafe
it.
on that, too.
We don't run it, and just for the record, the city of Portland doesn't hand out needles to anyone. Safety is our priority, however, and we
I
talk a
get
lot
that,
about
but you're
that here
you're
at this
giving
dais.
out tax dollars to fund nonprofit groups that are giving
I've
needle
heard your
exchanges.
testimony. Thank you for your testimony,
All right,
sir.
thank you so much.
Next item, please, 426.
Request of Patrick Cashman to address council regarding Multnomah Village Neighborhood Association public meeting requirements.
Good morning.
Patrick was going to join virtually. They haven't logged on yet.
Okay, very good. Let's go to 427, and then we will take a recess after that till we get to the first time certain.
Request of Alex Casaro to address council regarding living and working in Portland. Is Alex here? Alex Casaro? I don't think they're here.
All right, quite a few no-shows today. Sorry about that, folks. We cannot start our first item until 9:45. It's posted as a time certain. We'll take a recess until 9:45. First, 2023 at 2 p.m. can you also read, please, item number 440?
Authorize borrowings of not more than $38 million in anticipation of the Fire and Police Disability and Retirement Fund levy for FY 2023-24.
Colleagues, this item 440 is also rescheduled for Thursday, June 1st, 2023 at 2 p.m. Let's read 441.
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt. Will you check to make sure your mic is on?
I'm sorry. Item 441, please.
Mr. Mayor, can I just jump in here real quick
Please.
on 440?
Yeah.
I think I noticed that there was one person who was signed up to testify in this, so I hope we can send whoever that is a note saying this will show up tomorrow. Are we moving this one to Thursday?
440, yes, is being moved to Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
they've been
individual's
notified.
been notified.
The testifier who
Yeah.
signed up, yes, they've been
Okay,
notified.
great.
Good,
Awesome,
thank you.
thanks.
Good, fair question. Item number, did we read 441?
Not yet.
Okay, 441, please.
Authorize Portland Parks and Recreation to establish and collect fees in lieu of mitigation activities to implement restoration projects in natural areas.
This item is rescheduled to Thursday, June 1st, 2023 at 2 p.m. And last but not least, let's do 442. That's a second reading.
Revise sewer and stormwater rates, charges, and fees in accordance with the fiscal year 2023-24 sewer user rate study.
This is a second reading. There's already been a presentation, an opportunity for public participation and discussion from people in the community. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
I want to thank my colleagues for supporting the amendment, which would fund the RAMP program. Of course, the RAMP program provides low-income assistance to, or utility assistance to low-income Portlanders who live in rental units. We've talked about this rate schedule a little bit. I think my concerns with the rates that we have here are well documented on the record. At the same time, it's important that we have a rate schedule in place in time for the next fiscal year. For that reason, I vote aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
No. The item carries. Item 445, also a second reading.
Revise transportation fees, rates, and charges for FY 2023-24, amend transportation fee schedule, and fix an effective date.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Echoing my comments from earlier, I appreciate my colleagues' dialogue on this matter. At the same time, I think it's important that this council and the people of Portland recognize that PBOT is in a fiscal crisis. In order to get out of this fiscal crisis, this council will need to come up with a new funding model for our transportation needs. I look forward to working with my colleagues on this council to develop that new approach to funding transportation. In the meantime, I vote aye.
Rubio.
Thank you. I want to also take a moment to speak to the budget note associated with PBOT strategic plan and echo what has been shared by my staff already, that we're a willing partner to engage in this conversation. We're really interested in PBOT's revised strategic plan, and doing so will provide the council with a clear picture of mission-critical services. And also, we're open to conversations about planning, climate work, and engagement efforts as well. Also, we've also mentioned, my staff has mentioned in chief meetings, we're also open to a discussion on right-of-way revenue for PBOT as well. So I would suggest that we could do a temporary direct allocation as an interim step after we see the revised strategic plan, but we're open to that conversation with my colleagues. Thanks. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
No, the motion carries. It is now 9:45. We'll go back to the first time certain item. Please, item number 428.
Item 428, accept the 2022 annual report of the North and Northeast Neighborhood Housing Strategy Oversight Committee.
Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one second. Colleagues, in early 2015, Portland City Council approved the North-Northeast Housing Strategy, which uses tax increment financing district and other city funding to address displacement, create homeowners, and create new affordable rental housing. The North-Northeast Oversight Committee was set up at that time to monitor and provide oversight for the expenditure of those funds and on program and policy development within the Interstate TIF district. Since 2015, the committee has guided over $95 million in investment in the strategy's initiatives. Today, we'll be hearing an annual update from the Portland Housing Bureau staff and the North-Northeast Oversight Committee on progress on these strategies, as well as the preference policy and workforce equity. As you will hear in a moment, Portland Housing Bureau and their community partners are meeting or exceeding the goals established for these funds. I'd like to now introduce our presenters for today.
Excuse me. All right, we'll take a recess.
Recording stopped.
We are back in session. Apologies to everybody for the disruption. We'll get back on track. We were just beginning the presentation of item 428. This is to accept the 2022 annual report of the North and Northeast Neighborhood Housing Strategy Oversight Committee. If you would like to start again, you sort of got knocked off your stride there by the demonstrator. If you'd like to start again,
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Commissioner Mapps, great to see you. Commissioner Rubio. Of course, Mr. Mayor, always good to see you. And Commissioner Ryan, I'm looking forward to meeting you, Commissioner Gonzalez. I'm Dr. Holt, and I chair the Oversight Committee for the Northeast Neighborhood Housing Strategies and have since its inception. Super excited to talk about what we have been able to accomplish. I won't go into depth with our prepared introduction, but there are a couple of things I'd like to highlight. One is that this has been a significant lift in terms of investing for the most gentrified and marginalized people groups of the city of Portland. The intentionality to put aside dollars and then grow those dollars and continue to grow those dollars has proven to be, I think, the right move to make. And what we have accomplished is only a small scratch on the surface for what needs to happen. As you look at the report, we've got some exciting things to highlight. But there are some significant opportunities that we really want to lean in on. And so I will not spend much time as the introduction other than for those words, and then I'll give it to Ms. Leslie Goodlow, and we'll come back and talk about opportunities. So.
Good morning, Commissioners and Mayor. I'm Leslie Goodlow. I'm the Equity and Business Operations Manager for the Portland Housing Bureau, and I staff the Oversight Committee and project manage the Northeast Housing Strategy. So next slide, please. Next slide. So first, I'm going to run real quickly. I know we were short on time, so I'm not going to go through all the slides. You've received the report and the slides, but some things we wanted to highlight that in last year we were able to provide just over $400,000 in rent assistance to our Northeast Housing Strategy buildings, helping 117 residents maintain their housing. We did our fall notice of funding for the Metro bond, and two PHB-owned sites were awarded along with the Kaiser site for development. The 5020 project, which had previously been slated for condos that due to COVID was put aside, that we were able to break ground on that project as a rental project, and it's moving along and will be completed either late this year or early next year. And the biggest accomplishment of 2022 is that we reached our goal of 110 new homeowners using PHB subsidy, which is an amazing, amazing thing. We also helped another 11 families that came through the preference policy purchase without subsidy. Next slide, please. As Commissioner Rubio mentioned, we have spent just over $95 million on the housing strategy. A project that started out with $20 million is now over $95, and by the time we are done with the maximum indebtedness, it will be just under $150 million going into the housing strategy, providing opportunities for people to move back into Northeast Portland and maintain their homes. Next slide. This is a map of the investments that we have made in Northeast Portland, the rental properties and the home ownership units that have been built, along with the properties that are to be developed, Cary Boulevard, where we have our Safe Rest Village now, and the Strong property and 5020. Next slide. So we have surpassed all the goals that were originally set back in 2015, excluding one, which is our home repair loan program, but everything else we have met or exceeded. And we are very proud that we have served with our home repair grant program over 1,000 households with needed home repairs. And we built over 500 units. which we were only projected to do 380. And as I said, we are at 110 households utilizing subsidy, but 121 total.
That's great.
Next slide. So just quickly, I'm going to talk about one of the families that received home repair services. Delisa inherited her house from her parents, and it was badly in need of repair. She was able to not only get a home repair loan, so she was able to replace 20 wood windows with new vinyl windows, provided new interior and exterior paint, plus the repair and repainting of doors, cabinets, and stairs throughout the home. Gutters were replaced, a roof leak was repaired, and she also received a lead paint remediation through our lead paint hazard program. So due to the fact that she came in for the home repair program, we were able to hook her up with additional services. Next slide. Preventing displacement, this is a graph that shows the number of unduplicated folks that have received both home repair loans and home repair grants. In 2022, we only did one home repair loan. There are a variety of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into them because we don't have enough time, but we closed 14. So we only did one new, but we closed 14 previous ones. Next slide. This slide just shows that we are serving in the home repair grant program primarily Black families. Over 500 of the 1,000 families that we've served have been Black or African American. And in the home repair loan program, we're about even with about 70 families each total in between Black and white. Next slide. We have created a program for preventing displacement. It's estate planning, and this was originally created as a pilot. Due to the advocacy of the Oversight Committee, we have created now an ongoing program using federal dollars, and they are serving families to keep houses in their family for with webinars and legal services and estate planning. So that program is now citywide. Next slide. The second strategy is creating new homeowners. The person pictured here is Shariah Foster. She was able to purchase a home with our down payment assistance program, and she went through, started trying to buy a house in 2012 and eventually became a homeowner in 2021. And Shariah now works at the Housing Bureau, and she works on the preference policy. So we're very excited to have her, and she is in the audience here today. Next slide. So this slide real quickly shows the number of homeowners based on the funding source, and then the second graph is per year, the number of homeowners that have been created. Next slide. We have been able to serve people with very low AMIs or median family incomes. A majority of folks that we've served have been between 61 and 70%, but we've served folks as low as 40%. 94 of the 121 people that have purchased have been Black and primarily BIPOC. Next slide. Of the purchases with down payment assistance, 83% purchased a home of 3 or more bedrooms. 71% of them had more than 1.5 bathrooms. The average sales price was $313,000, and the sales prices ranged from $176,000 to $522,000. Next slide. This just shows a map of where people have been able to purchase using interstate dollars, using our short-term rental and CET and Lents dollars. Next slide. We have 3 projects that will be building new home ownership units in the future. SEI and CDP were awarded the strong site, and they have elected to include a site that's 2 blocks away to do home ownership. They will be putting 7 to 8 townhomes on that site. Habitat for Humanity and Proud Ground were awarded Cary Boulevard. They will be building 52 townhomes and creating a community on that property. And then the Williams and Russell site, we'll be working with the Williams and Russell CDC and Adre, and they're going to be developing about 20 townhomes that we will hopefully be able to use some down payment assistance with. Next slide. Strategy 3, creating new rental homes. This is a picture of the 5020 site a few weeks ago. Next slide. We have 6 buildings that are occupied primarily with BIPOC residents. We continue to source people into these buildings using the preference policy. Next slide. We have 5 projects that are in the pipeline. As I mentioned, 5020 will be finished sometime this year, 64 units. Albina 1 will be closing. Their financial close is coming up, I think, the end of this month. They will be building 94 units. The Strong site will have 75 units. Northwest Housing Alternatives and the Urban League were awarded the Kaiser site, and they will be building 62 units of senior housing. And then PCRI and HDC will be putting the affordable rental on the Williams and Russell site. And so I'm going to skip ahead. So if you can skip the next couple slides, and I'm going to go to the preference policy slide. There you go. So we continue to have people regularly apply for the preference policy. To date, we have had 3,782 people, through the end of December, 3,782 people had applied for rental, 1,622 people had applied for home ownership, and 612 people had applied claiming eminent domain. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Holt and Jillian to talk about opportunities.
Thank you very much. As you can see, this is a rather thorough approach, the strategies to address what has been significant in the city of Portland. I don't need to go through our history. We know it. I don't need to talk about the demographics. We know them. And so the effort of this strategy has been to begin a process of creating pathways and opportunities for those who have an interest to benefit from it. And from the numbers you just heard, there is a significant amount of people who would like to participate and take advantage of an opportunity to return to communities that they once lived in. Now, we fully understand that community will never be what it once was. However, place matters, and it matters for people, and how we handle people matters. 2 other things I'll say before I talk about opportunities. One of the lessons learned is that harmed people need extra help. Where there has been historic impact that has taken away generational wealth, generational opportunity, livable wage, extra work to get them into a place where they can begin to recoup and recover is the work of this committee. And you remember, Mr. Mayor, the first year our numbers were dismal, but it took almost 2 years to help people clean up the things that needed to be cleaned up and to get the processes in place. And so we're excited about what the report communicates, but the work in front of us is just as daunting. So a couple opportunities that I want to highlight real quickly out of what we learned. The home retention strategy, utilizing home repair loans and grants. As you saw, many families went after grants as opposed to loans. I think we need to reevaluate and reconsider how that program is determined. I think that directing dollars to grants might give us more benefit. as it relates to helping families stay in their homes. So I think that's something we should consider. We're also concerned that we continue to see small numbers of Black and African-American trades construction workers participating in all levels of construction. So those who are participating, we'd like to see those numbers increase. We're not sure what the reason is behind it, but part of our concern wasn't merely getting families back in housing, affordable housing, rental housing, or ownership. It's also helping to support business owners. It's also creating some economic pathway with these dollars and helping that. The OC would like to see the increased partnership in communication between us, our PHB partners, while there are no, and the nonprofit partners, there are no significant issues, but the PSU report kind of highlighted some significant things. I'll reference that in a moment. And I just want to make sure that we continue to participate and work through the challenges that are associated with this, this work. We also want to make sure that that the Safe Rest Village can transition as promised without any delays as we're getting close to beginning the home development on that site. So that's a concern for the Oversight Committee. I'll let you highlight a couple of things, Jillian.
Hello, thank you. I'm Jillian Siraj Felton. I've been on the Oversight Committee since either late 2015, early 2016, and I'm also an affordable housing developer. One of the issues that I want to highlight is in that PSU report, and it was a lack of ability on the part of the nonprofits to be able to staff buildings appropriately when permanent supportive housing units were co-located. So buildings don't need to be 100% permanent supportive housing in order to deliver permanent supportive housing. But if that's what we want to do, if we want to meet people where they are, we have to provide the resources for the nonprofit owners to manage the building. And right now, the amount that's allocated for resident services is not enough, and the amount that's allocated specifically for security is zero. And so I would really like the commissioners and mayor to think about when we are allocating these resources that we have that are working. Over 100 people were helped by rent assistance, as you heard earlier, in these buildings. That means that's 100 people who aren't homeless. These programs are working, and we need to make sure that they are robust and that they keep working, because it's not enough to help people find housing. It's not enough to help people use the preference policy to return to neighborhoods that they love. They have to be able to stay there, and they have to be able to access the services that allow them to stay there. And unfortunately, that costs money. And the burden of that expense should not be on the nonprofit. We can only fundraise so much. At some point, it is, the properties are not sustainable if they are not in the black. And that may sound like kind of a harsh numbers-related thing. I'm a developer. I love a spreadsheet. But that is the fact. We need to be able to pay our people a living wage, and we need to be able to staff appropriately for the amount of acuity of folks coming in, especially using coordinated access. We want to, as developers, as affordable housing nonprofits, we want to house these folks. We just need help to make sure it's done right. So I think that is really reflected in the PSU report when it's talking about security. It's talking about not having enough staff on site. It's talking about not having access to the community spaces. This is all related together. That it's a great experiment, but we need these PSH these permanent supportive housing units, even when there's just a few in a building. That building needs more support. The other thing I wanted to mention is I would really like Portland Housing Bureau and the City of Portland to consider that this housing strategy worked. It worked. People who wanted to come to this community, who had been pushed out of this community, are able to. It's a drop in the bucket, yes, but it worked. And it can work in other areas of the city. There's an opportunity. Displacement doesn't start when a max line is built. Displacement doesn't start when development starts. Displacement starts when the max line is announced. Mm-hmm. Property values already skyrocket, rents start rising. That is when displacement starts. And so using this similar policy in other areas of the city that we know are ripe for gentrification is a huge opportunity for the city to get ahead of displacement, to get ahead of gentrification, and use something that this committee and this work has, is proven works. I think we've all received phone calls from all over the country asking, how did you get this policy to work? This is so ingenious. This is so novel. This is so, no one's ever done this before. And we have the model, and we know how it works, and we know how to implement it, and there's no reason that we can't help other areas of the city as well by using a similar strategy. And so that presents a very big opportunity for us as a city and as a as a developer, to take this investment and focus it in a way that prevents and repairs gentrification and displacement. Thanks.
Thank you, Jillian. Two other things I want to lean in on, well communicated. Thank you so much. With the rising prices in the URA, it is a significant opportunity for us to look at how else and where else the investments can happen, how we can do something citywide. We want to appreciate Portland Housing Bureau's recognition of this and creating the CET or using the STR to support these efforts. And if we can continue to do that, that would be fantastic. And then lastly, and I really would love to see us lean in on this. To optimize the investments and opportunities for home ownership, we suggest that PHB collaborate with Home Forward to utilize the waiver which allows housing choice voucher holders to apply their vouchers toward a mortgage. It's happened once already in our city. We'd love to see this continue to happen. The dollars are going to be paid out already. Why not pay them to ownership versus rent? So with that, that concludes our report for our 2022 housing strategies. Any
Excellent
questions?
report. Colleagues, I think we may have some testimony. Do you want to hear the testimony before commentary? Well done. Thank you. And we may have some follow-up questions, but for the moment, how many people do we have signed up?
We have 2 people signed up.
2 minutes each, please. Name for the record.
First up, we have Haley Nolan.
Welcome.
Haley was going to join in person. Is Haley here? Haley Nolan? Next, Sheila Holden. Sheila was also going to join in person. Sheila Holden?
She was one of the oversight committee members.
Not here. Okay.
Yeah, we probably lost some people during the disruption. Very good. So I kicked you out of your seats. Come on back if you wouldn't mind, Leslie and Jillian and Dr. Holt. Colleagues, any follow-up? I just have something I'm bursting to say, so I'm going to say it. This is what dogged determination does. And Dr. Holt and I were sharing our private moment that we've shared each of the last, I think, 6 years in a row as this comes before the city council. And Jillian, I'm really respectful of your bottom line commentary, which is it works. And Dr. Holt and Leslie and I were here 6 years ago when it was an unmitigated disaster. It wasn't working because we really hadn't fully thought out the plan. We didn't have all the steps in place. We didn't have all the people and the support that we needed in place. And I'm just really proud of what you have accomplished in partnership with the Housing Bureau to make this, as you said so aptly, Jillian, make it work. And when I look at the data, the baseline data related to this program compared to where it was, it just shows that persistence pays off. You were doggedly determined to move forward and address whatever shortcomings there were at the beginning. And I think, frankly, it was just we weren't organized yet. We really didn't have all the right pieces in place. Well, now you do. And it's at a point where now we can look at the base program and say, yeah, the base program's great. Let's talk about what's next.
What's next?
And that's a great place to be in, isn't it? And I really like your idea of applying the vouchers toward mortgages. As somewhat of a finance nerd myself, equity is always better than rent, in my opinion. And so I'll defer to the Housing Bureau and the commissioner in charge, but I think that is a worthy partnership that we should pursue.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else has any comments before we ask for a motion. Commissioner Ryan, it looks
Just
like you
real
might.
quick, I'll make some comments when I vote, but I want to ask a question about the home ownership. How we're tracking people 2 years, 3 years later, now that we're starting to get people into home ownership. So we can really look at those that got grants, those that got loans, and 3 years later, are they still, hopefully doing really well? And I appreciate all the financial coaching that goes on to get them there. I just worry about these programs not sustaining that
Absolutely.
financial coaching. And so I just want to hear a little something about the results, which really matter, which is 3-5 years down the road. So they're really building the multi-generational wealth, which is the vision of you, Dr. Holt.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a great question. I'll answer that two ways. One is this is a relationship process. This isn't a project. And so it's not task-oriented, as in you finish the task and you're done with the relationship. This is the approach of establishing connectivity with the people who are now benefiting from the program. And so there is a two-way ongoing interaction. And so that's a great question. And the necessary supports kind of leans into the mayor's statement of what's next. So what are the answers when those families fall into or potentially run into difficult spaces and times, which happens to all of us? How do we then assist and mitigate that? That hasn't been developed yet, but it's something worth leaning in on. But at this point, thank God, families are doing well. But then there's the other program that we mentioned in regard to estate and estate planning. So that we're doing some long-term planning, right? We're doing some long-term planning and helping families think about how to make sure that what has been invested in, fought for, loved and prayed for can remain and retain. So.
All right.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Just want to stay on it. Yeah. As somebody that took forever to save up to buy a home and has, always struggled with being at that 30%, often closer to 50.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of discipline, and you do need support.
Absolutely. Great.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you for a comprehensive report. Do you mind bringing up the slide that showed participation by race in the program? That had the breakdown, one of your last slides.
Are you talking about the MWSB slides?
It was in your report. It was towards the end. It just showed the racial composition of participants. I thought
Participants in the program.
The 94.
Yes.
Oh, the
Gotcha.
homeowners?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the table? Let me just start with a question. Well, one, very good news relative to where we were 6 years ago. I mean, in terms of progress and delivering on the goal. Could you just summarize what the current preference policy is as it sits in 2023? High level, what is, there are several references to the preference policy, and I just would like to understand what that means tangibly.
Yes. The preference policy is a geographic-based preference system to provide opportunities for people to apply for rental or homeownership units based on where they lived and where their parent, grandparent, or guardian lived. So it is generational ties to Northeast Portland. It's not based on race. It's not based on age. It's not based on how long you lived in Northeast Portland. If you had an address in Northeast Portland and your parent, grandparent, or guardian had an address in Northeast Portland, you get a certain number of points, so up to 3 points based on where that address is. So you could get 3 points for yourself and up to 3 points for your parent, grandparent, or guardian. It puts you onto a list, so then you're on a waiting list, and as units open up, we send the list over to our partners, and then they go through the list based on numerical order. So it's a numerical ordered list of people based on their points. So all the 6-point people and the 5-point people and the 4-point people, and they're in numerical order based on when they applied.
Got it.
And if there is city action, you go to the top of the list. So if you lost your property due to city action, you're prioritized over even 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got it. I appreciate it. And the slide I was looking for, Clerk, was the one that showed first column had Black, then Latinx, Asian. It was sort of it was a table towards the end.
Yep.
This is it.
This-
Yeah, that's
oh.
it.
Back with
That
preference
was it.
policy, there we go.
Yeah. So that is the race and ethnicity of all of the applicants for the preference policy.
And it's, and again, I think this is largely the intent, but it's clear that the outcomes of distribution are far different than the general population of the city of Portland, correct? I mean,
Correct.
it's by intent, by design, but that's
So,
the outcome.
Yeah, the geography that we chose was based on displacement between 1970 and 2010. And the study area, which I can send you the map, showed the displacement over time. About 15,000 families left Northeast Portland between 1970 and 2010. And so that's why we focused on that particular area in relation to creating the preference policy. And it was defensible. It could withstand HUD's criteria.
The only one.
It is the only one in the country so far that has, and actually HUD had us speak on one of their webinars specific to how we're making the preference policy work, because it's not race-based, but it is assisting, primarily Black people that had been displaced.
So I don't mean to speed this along, but
No, I know.
because of the disruption, we've had a lot of people waiting, and I want to make sure we get to them.
Right.
Absolutely.
So unless there are any burning questions, I will entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Commissioner,
Second.
Commissioner Rubio moves, Commissioner Ryan seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan?
Yes, thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dr. Holt. And it's good to see you, Jillian. That was a great, thorough report. And thank you, Commissioner Rubio, for continuing the leadership at the council level. It was truly an honor when I had this assignment to watch this evolve. And I just want to say a couple things. Homeownership was my focus when I had that assignment. And it's so good to hear that 121 homeowners are now a part of this good work. And building multi-generational wealth is justice work with teeth. The relational conversation we just had, Dr. Holt, that gives me hope. I love the estate planning services in particular, and wanted to call that out. And we don't want to see wealth go away as an elder passes. And I also think the voucher idea seems promising. I know we have to dig into that, and I look forward to understanding it more and being supportive. But we got to have that longitudinal data so we can see what's working and what's not. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of 20 years ago when many people became homeowners, not to see a record number of foreclosures 5 years later. Right. So I kind of come back to my time in education when it was seeing a lot of people get into universities, pay really big loans, and then not graduate. So what happens? They go into debt. So that's where my sensitivity is on such items. So I want to make sure we stay really dogged on that. I also want to thank you, Jillian, for what you brought up. When I would do calls to a board to say that you will be doing this housing project with the Housing Bureau, they would pivot and say, thank you, Commissioner, I need to talk to you about something else. And it was always about the challenges they were having keeping staff in some environments that they quite frankly said weren't safe. Mm-hmm. And so it was a security issue is what I heard over and over again. So it's really important that we bring that up and we look at, like any project, making sure we're in reality and that we're funding it in the way that will make it safe for the people who live there, the vast majority who are wonderful, and making sure that we really do staff that properly. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm really excited to vote aye. Thanks.
Gonzalez?
Great report, great progress on initial goals. I vote aye.
Maps?
I want to thank the panel for an excellent presentation, and I want to congratulate the Oversight Committee for a job well done. I vote aye.
Rubio?
I'd like to thank Dr. Holtz, Leslie, and Jillian for their presentation today, and also all the members of the Oversight Committee for their time and passion that they bring to the work. I also want to thank the committee for the recommendations on the areas that we can do more and where we can do better. I'm encouraged to hear that the group is tracking things really closely and working in collaboration with the Housing Bureau. And I just want to reiterate that my office is a full partner with you to explore how we make progress on these other great ideas. And I have to say, the proposal that you just talked about in partnership with Home Forward and PHB and vouchers for home ownership is very, very exciting to me personally, because it's actually supporting the creation of generational wealth for these North and Northeast legacy families. So that's very exciting, and I look forward to hearing more about that. Also want to thank the great team at PHB and development teams and community partners who help bring these investments to life. And I just want to call out one person in particular who's been with the Bureau for a long time and has seen it all and has dedicated a tremendous amount of tireless work to this project and to the Bureau, and that's Leslie Goodlow.
Absolutely.
I just want to acknowledge your leadership and the tremendous partnership and love for the community that you bring into this work, Leslie, and you do it a lot of time quietly and behind the scenes, but I just want to say that we see you and you make our work better, and so thank you. Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's clear with Leslie's leadership and the great relationships you have with community partners and our developers, you're all very aligned around these important goals, and that you're efficiently and equitably overseeing these funds. And it takes so much time and investment, but it also takes love. And that's something that we really feel from you in this project. It's working because you bring love to the project. So I just want to acknowledge that and appreciate you and look forward to seeing what we can do together next. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
I say amen to all of the above. I vote aye. The report is accepted. Thank you. Good work. Colleagues, item 437, the ADA lawsuit, I'd like, without objection, to move that to the beginning of the regular agenda. We have one more time certain. It is mine, and so we need to put it next. But since it is mine, I would request that we keep it brief, since it is a regular technology oversight report, and I believe it's a pretty good one. So why don't we call up the second time certain item 429, which is a report, and I ask for your forbearance. I would never ordinarily ask you to speed things up, but today's sort of a special day. Thank you.
Item 429, accept the Technology Oversight Committee quarterly report.
Gentlemen, welcome and thank you. And I'm sorry for the delay again.
Hello, good morning, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioners. My name is Ethan Sermo. I work for the communications team in the Office of Management and Finance. Every quarter, it's my privilege to introduce the Technology Oversight Committee's quarterly report. This report is for the first quarter of this year. We are currently overseeing the Office 365 project, the Infor project, and the Record Management System project. Also, we are pending oversight, so they're in the hopper for Public Safety Roster Scheduling Replacement project, the body-worn cameras project, and the Advanced Metering Infrastructure project. So with that, I will hand things over to Jeff, and he can continue the report.
All right, thank you, Ethan, and good morning, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. As Ethan noted, we're here to present the first quarterly report for 2023, and I want to first turn it over to Diana Garcia, who's joining us remotely here, for her comments. Diana, please.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, City Council. My name is Diana Garcia, and I am a representative on the Technology Oversight Committee, representing Commissioner Rubio. So it's wonderful to see you. Sorry I can't be there in person today, but let's go through our report at a high level. So for Office 365, this project is still in the phase 2 and is ahead of schedule, below budget, and no changes to the scope, which is really good to see. Continues a green rating and is on track for their projected completion here in July of 2023. As a TOC member, we're always curious on something like 365, where there's a lot of things that can go wrong with a deployment like this. And to see it run so smoothly and so well, we give kudos to the team that's really driven that and is successfully continuing on their plan. So kudos to them. For the record management system, This project's in its design phase, so we aren't giving it a color rating yet. And I don't believe QA has been assigned yet, but so we've held off on giving that a color rating until it's a little further in its planning and process. But they do have some upcoming milestones around their implementation schedule, their specifications, their project plan, and their change management plan, and how they're going to handle those things. And last but not least, the M4 project. Again, we're not rating this one yet, as it's only come to us informally so far. But over the past quarter, the project has set up their implementation schedule and project timeline, and are currently working in their execution phase. So we hope to rate this soon, and can answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Diana. And we're here to just say thank you for your support of the Technology Oversight Committee, and also here to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions for our Oversight Committee? I'm sure we'll have nice things to say about you as we call the roll. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Mapps moves. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Ryan seconds. Acceptance of the report. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Thank you for your good work. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Thank you for your good work. I look forward to discussions in the coming months about service areas and how that might change how we support technology in the city of Portland. With that, I vote aye.
Mapps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Great work as always, because we have engaged citizens and staff who look very carefully at our technology projects and help guide us. We don't have to. And it's much better that we have knowledgeable people like the citizens who volunteer, who have deep experience, and our staff members to have this formalized process where every quarter we can see how we're doing on these large adaptations. And frankly, it gives me a lot of confidence to have that additional oversight. Thank you for your report. I vote aye. The report's accepted. Colleagues, I'd like to skip for the time being item 436 and move to item 437, an emergency ordinance.
Authorize city attorney to settle lawsuit related to sidewalk obstructions created by campsites and pay claims of named plaintiffs, including attorney's fees as directed by the court.
This is an item to settle a lawsuit. This is an agreement regarding the use of sidewalk rights of way. Here to present this item is City Attorney Robert Taylor and Deputy City Attorney Naomi Sheffield. And Keelan, just to preface this, by the way, I understand that we have many people signed up to testify on this item. In the interest of time, as per the notice that went out to the public, we're limiting public testimony to 2 minutes per person, so please try and keep your remarks as brief as possible. And if you are joining us online today, that's great, but please note that at 2 minutes, the clerk will mute you. So try to get your words in and watch the clock so that we can hear your key points. For those of you who are here in person, I'd kindly ask you to complete your testimony during the allotted time, just so we can make sure we get through everybody as quickly as possible. Last but not least, I know you've been sitting here for a long time due to the disruption, and again, I apologize for that, and I'm really glad you're here, so thank you. And Naomi, I'll turn this over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Naomi Sheffield with the City Attorney's Office, and this is Beth Woodard. So Beth is here and stand-in for Robert. So hopefully that helps. I'm hopeful that I can get a power strip and do a PowerPoint presentation, but we'll see. Is there a way for me to plug it? Or I could have, yeah, I can hand it to Lauren. Oh, it's up. Okay. So this ordinance is a proposed settlement agreement that would settle a lawsuit of Tozer et al. Versus City of Portland. Next slide. The lawsuit was brought last September by 9 individuals who have mobility disabilities, both related to mobility and vision, as well as 1 caretaker for an individual who has a mobility disability. In the lawsuit, they allege that the city violated with the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act in connection with the city's alleged failure to maintain the sidewalks clear from debris and tent encampments. Next slide, please. Since September, the city has engaged in negotiations with plaintiffs to see if we were able to reach an agreed-upon settlement and avoid protracted litigation. The ordinance before you has the proposed settlement terms, and I'll summarize those now. So it would be a 5-year settlement term. So the obligations on the city would continue until June 30th of 2028. The federal court would retain jurisdiction to enforce the settlement. The city would pay each plaintiff $5,000 in damages. And the city would agree that plaintiffs are the prevailing party and are entitled to attorney's fees under the ADA, but those attorney's fees would be decided by the court, what the reasonable attorney's fees are. And then the city would agree to certain obligations related to operations and funding, which I'll discuss in more detail, and then report quarterly on those obligations. Next slide.
Could I ask our closed captioner, is this too fast, or are you good? Is the pace okay? For the interpreter, I'm sorry, I apologize. Is this pace okay? Perfect, good, I just wanted to make sure, thank you.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
and I can
Naomi.
slow down too. The first operational requirement in the settlement would relate to the campsite reporting system. And it's pretty consistent with the reporting system we have now, although with some small changes. The city will maintain an integrated reporting system that will allow people to report campsites both online, which is currently available at PDX Reporter, and through 311, through a phone call to 311. Individuals, when reporting campsites, will be able to note if that campsite is obstructing a sidewalk, and that will be relevant to later operational requirements. Additionally, a person with a disability can separately request a reasonable accommodation related to an obstruction on a sidewalk, which will, again, be relevant to some of the requirements on the next slide. Next slide. The next operational requirement relates to reprioritizing campsite removals. So first, the city will be obligated to conduct assessments of reported sidewalk obstructions within 5 business days of a report. The city is already generally doing this with all campsite reporting, not just sidewalk obstructions. The city will also reprioritize sidewalk obstructions for removals. So the agreement requires that 40% of the city's removals that are done by the Impact Reduction Program or its contractors annually will address sidewalk obstructions. And in any given quarter, no less than 35% of removals will address sidewalk obstructions. Additionally, within that 40% and 35% quarterly, the city will prioritize or move to the top of the list the requests for accommodations that are made by individuals with disabilities. So we'll ensure that people who have a disability and are requesting accommodation are kind of being even further reprioritized within this system. And finally, the city will remove no fewer than 500 campsites obstructing sidewalks each year. Next slide. The last operational requirements relate to signage and tents. So the first relates to signs. The city will agree to post signs indicating that obstructing pedestrian traffic is prohibited, and those signs will only be posted at locations where there have been repeated instances of sidewalk obstructions and removals within a given month. So it would be instances or particular locations where tents are kind of continually coming back up and obstructing the sidewalk. As well, in addition to just obstructing the sidewalk, there'll be locations where people with a disability have specifically requested an accommodation to try to make sure we're keeping sidewalks clear for individuals who need them to access their everyday lives. And finally, the city operationally will not generally distribute tents, with 3 exceptions. Those exceptions to the prohibition on distributing tents are when city contractors may use a tent or provide a tent to somebody in assisting with the removal. So sometimes tents or bedding or tarps are provided to de-escalate situations in connection with removal, and that will still be allowed. Additionally, at severe winter weather shelters, where the city and county are staffing those shelters, tents are sometimes handed out to individuals as the shelters are closing. That will still be allowed. City employees won't be prohibited from handing out tents in that situation. And finally, if it's necessary to replace property that is damaged during a removal. So if a tent is damaged, either during the removal or during storage of the property, and needs to be replaced, the city will still be allowed to replace it. Next slide. The last requirement is a funding requirement, and that is a minimum funding requirement for the impact reduction program services. And that includes both existing services and other similar services that the impact reduction program may perform. And that funding requirement is $8 million for this coming fiscal year of 2023-2024, and a minimum requirement of $3 million for the following 4 fiscal years of the settlement agreement. And that's a summary of all the terms. The settlement agreement is included as Exhibit A, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Very good. Colleagues, at this juncture, are there any questions? Commissioner Mapps?
Just a couple of clarifying questions. First, thank you for the presentation. Your presentation specifically calls out the impact reduction program for implementing this. Are there any other city bureaus which will be actively engaged in this?
Yeah, so PBOT is the other city bureau
Yeah.
that will have involvement. So PBOT will be involved kind of in 2 primary roles. So PBOT will participate in the request for an accommodation. So individuals with a disability that are requesting accommodation, those requests will be funneled through PBOT, who already has the infrastructure related to people requesting an accommodation, and that division of PBOT will work with the impact reduction program to prioritize those requests. So that, in that way, PBOT will be impacted. And the second way is the signs, are signs that PBOT will place. And in the fiscal impact statement, it kind of indicates also the costs related to these PBOT costs, just so it's clear. But the PBOT will be the ones that put up those signs, and they are existing signs that PBOT already uses in certain places. But this would kind of include placement in places where PBOT may not otherwise be placing them.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a specific estimate as to how much this is likely to cost PBOT?
Yes, it is in the fiscal impact statement, and I believe that over, I want to say it's 400, the signs could estimate up to 400,000, and it was 0.5 to 1 full-time equivalent employee for the ADA accommodation requests, which I want to say was approximately $110,000 each year. Sorry, I don't have the impact statement in front of me, but I think that's about the amount for PBOT.
Great, and those costs are going to be ongoing for every year of this agreement? Or is this a one-time
The
cost?
400,000 was over the entirety for the signs, so I think it was approximately 80,000 each year.
Okay.
Related to signs, and that was kind of a high-end cost from PBOT's. And yes, the expectation is over the 5 years, and I think that that's indicated in the impact statement for both the annual costs and the total costs over the 5 years.
Great, thank you. And just one more question. Does the joint office play any role in enforcing this agreement?
The joint office does not. The joint office is run through the county, and the lawsuit was not brought against the county. And that relates kind of to the claims that were brought in the lawsuit and plaintiff's theory of their claims. So the county doesn't have any specific obligations in the lawsuit. We can't really impose obligations on the county. Obviously, they do play a role in us addressing the overall issues.
Great, thank you for those clarifications. I have no more questions, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Just a quick clarification. So with respect to permitted tent distribution under the settlement, is it fair to say that's solely for purposes of settling this lawsuit? That's not an affirmative statement that we will be distributing tents as a city in those conditions, but that the exclusions you articulated, the exceptions are what the city is permitted to do with respect to the plaintiffs going forward.
Correct. That doesn't impose affirmative obligations on the city to distribute tents. It just limits the circumstances under which the city may choose to distribute tents.
And just to keep it on the record that any future distribution of tents by the city, I'd like to be evaluated in conjunction with the Fire Bureau, in particular the Fire Marshal, but that's just mostly for the record. Thank you.
Commissioner Mapps.
Sure, just a quick clarification on the tent piece. So the city funds the joint office to the tune of about $40 million a year. I kind of tend to think of them as being a contractor. I think I also noted that this ordinance forbids contractors from distributing tents. So does this tent ban also apply to the joint office?
I do not believe it does. That is not how it was kind of negotiated or discussed. I don't think we generally consider the joint office to be a contractor of the city.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, we will get to public testimony. How many people do we have signed up, Keelan?
We have 36 people. signed up.
36, 2 minutes each. We don't need your address unless you choose to give it, but we would like your name for the record, and if you're here representing an organization, that's good to know. So thank you all for your patience again, and we're excited to have you here today.
First up, we have Keith Martin.
Honorable Mayor Wheeler, distinguished commissioners, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for having us here today. We are so impressed with the speed and spirit of cooperation that you've exhibited in our issue of clearing the streets and making them safer for those of us with disabilities. What happens when you make the streets safe for us, you make them safe for everyone. So if they're clear for people with disabilities, then they're clear for homeowners, they're clear for students, they're clear for shoppers downtown. It's a major step. I came to Portland in 1968, and I was involved in the arts all my life here. I was a founder of the first ballet company. I created in-school dance programs, and I wanted Portland to be a vibrant and rich place. 4 years ago, I had a massive, unexpected stroke, and I was left partially handicapped. I decided at that time to move downtown with my young son because I wanted to be close to the restaurants, the stores, the shops, the theaters. He's now at Lincoln. Over the past couple of years, it's become more difficult for us to access the things that we wanted to have in downtown Portland because often the streets were blocked. When the streets were blocked, on my scooter, I was forced to go into the street, sometimes into city traffic, sometimes against streetcars. And it was very dangerous, and that's why I got involved in this. So what I can say to you is that we support everything you're doing, and I think that your bold and innovative proposals now, they're going to be controversial, and it's not going to be easy, and you're going to have many points of view, but you're doing the right thing to move us forward. And I can't tell you how much all of us appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Good morning.
Next up, we have Pauline Long, who is going to join virtually. I don't think they're here. We'll go to Bert Rogaway.
My name is Bert Rodway. I was born in Portland 93 years ago. I was a small business owner for 50 plus years. My wife Lori and I raised 3 children in Portland. Despite the challenges of being disabled senior, I'm here, but for the simple act of wheeling up is not something I can easily do on many neighborhood streets. I am here today with the expectations that there will be unanimous vote approving the ADA settlement. A no vote by any of you will tell me that you don't care for seniors, for the disabled, something I will not accept, something my fearless daughters and grandchildren will not accept. And I'll remember when the next election comes around.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Lorraine Welchoff. As one of the plaintiffs on the lawsuit, I got to defend and see Portland through its most challenging times. As a disabled student at college here in Portland, PNCA, and diagnosed with cerebral palsy, using a scooter has been a tough challenge to get through the streets. It's even worse when I have to use my wheelchair because it doubles and triples my time to get to destinations. Living in Portland has been an obstacle course for me, especially when getting to different places around town or to my college. I have to change routes frequently to avoid homelessness and other things within the sidewalks, which makes it very hard for me, and I can be late to events and to classes. The homeless seem to take up the whole width of the sidewalks to where not even an able-bodied walking person could go past by. This could cause more danger, but they are blocking a walkway that is open to the public, not to themselves. But with this settlement, we will slowly, hopefully, see the changes to make it less dangerous for all of us. As I am walking away with this, I will still be advocating for this issue, not just for me, but the disabled community, but also the students at Pacific Northwest College of Art, now and in the future. And I hope to continue this within my motion graphics work since now I have graduated. Lastly, I'd like to thank you all for negotiating this settlement, and this is hopefully the start to improve access that is desperately needed in Portland. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Barbara Jacobson, followed by Vadim Mazirsky and Chris Maher.
Welcome.
Here's your chair right here. Babs is to your left and Vadim is to your right.
Thank you.
And here's your, right here. Got it? Got it. Okay, great, thank you.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Jacobson, and it is an honor and a pleasure to be sitting here before you. I'm a native Portlander. I have lived here all my life. I am one of the 10 plaintiffs in the lawsuit for ADA violations. The tents and trash have been blocking our sidewalks for a few years. Today, I will get my federal rights back as a disabled person. Every day I see suffering out there. So by honoring this federal agreement, the people that are desperately in need of help will get it. Then I can get around to get back to more normal life as a disabled person. That means being able to go to and from where I live and get transportation to go shopping and to go see my mom without fear and knowing that it's getting safer out there. I am very proud to see the work that we have accomplished so far, and the turning point for Portland is today. I would like to thank you, Ted Wheeler, and the rest of the City Council. It is a great honor to be part of this, and that the people on the street out there will get the help and services they need. We are all deserving of a safe, good life, and I take public transportation where I need to go to get there. I have seen the streets get better. We have cleaned up a lot, and we continue to do the hard work. Thank you for doing the hard work. We really needed it. For our friends, family, tourists, homeless on the street, today is the day it stops. Once again, thank you, City Council, for hearing me. I am so excited to see the turning point, to see a new Portland that I love so much again. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for being here.
Next up, we have Vadim Mazirsky.
Morning.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, City Commissioners. Thank you for your time. Today harkens me back to November 2021 during the fall budget monitoring process. At that point in time, 3 individuals experiencing blindness testified that they were unable to ambulate the sidewalks to the Commission for the Blind. At that point in time, no individual on City Council responded to their pleas. Yet the brave plaintiffs you see in this room did hear and respond to their pleas, as well as the pleas of thousands of other individuals in Portland suffering disabilities. Now is the time for City Council to acknowledge those 3 individuals, the plaintiffs in this room, and by OHSU estimates, up to 25% of Portlanders who have experienced disabilities. There's precedent for your vote. In May 2018, Portland settled a $113 million class action lawsuit to provide sidewalk ramps for mobility disabled residents. The Oregonian at that point in time wrote, "Without proper ramps, people who use wheelchairs can be forced to travel on the sides of crowded roadways, reroute themselves, or get stuck trying to traverse grassy or muddy areas." It goes without saying that the $113 million ramps do little good if the sidewalks themselves are not ADA compliant. People who use wheelchairs, as you've heard today and we'll hear more, are still being forced to travel on the sides of crowded roadways, reroute themselves, or get stuck trying to traverse grassy or muddy areas. Now is the time for this City Council to vote unanimously to fulfill the promise made to those individuals. Thank you, everyone, for taking this important step to settle the necessary lawsuit and thereby help people with disabilities, both housed and unhoused.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Pauline Long online. Pauline, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you for having me, Mayor Wheeler and commissioners. I'm a disabled person over here in Northeast Portland, Lloyd Center, Irvington area. And many times I'm going through wherever I'm going, Lloyd Center or wherever. And it's like I either have to go in the street and go against traffic and maybe get hit, or I have to drive over somebody's poop. And that's not good running in tires. So I'm really glad that you guys are doing this for us. Hopefully you'll all vote for this. And Mayor Wheeler, your ordinance is also a really good idea. So please vote that in. It kind of goes hand in foot. Anyway, as I say, this is my city. I was born and raised here. I don't like what I'm seeing. And so we got to get it back to the original, well, not original, but and I apologize, I'm not the greatest speaker in the world. So I want to thank you for everything you have done for us and your cooperation and your support. It's not easy sometimes being disabled on the sidewalks. And we got to keep the sidewalks clear, not only during the day, but also in the evening for like going to concerts or movies and such. So anyway, I surrender my time. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Pauline.
Next up, we have Chris Maher.
Yes, my name is Kristen Maher, M as in Mary, E-A-G-H-E-R. And I come basically as an advocate for not only the American Council of the Blind, but for myself as a blind individual that lived smack downtown Portland as over years, and I miss it terribly. But because of how unsafe it became, not only with different changes that came on, and of course the riots, but the homeless and the times that of tripping over many legs of people sticking out of their tents and trying to maneuver, had no understanding that as a person walking through with a cane, why I could not go to the road or the streets, and it was not even an issue to them. So as my advocacy for safety for not only the blind, but for all of us, of all disabilities, as well as all human beings in downtown Portland, I beg of you to look at ways that we can all work together, especially to serve safety for all. And that's my main thing. And I appreciate you all listening to what's going on in downtown.
Thank you. We appreciate your being here. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tiana Tozer, followed by Steve Jackson and Mike Wallingford. Oh, yes, of course, sorry. Next, we have Tiana Tozer, followed by Steve Jackson and Mike Wallingford.
The third seat right there, got it? Okay, Steve. Nope, you're here. Don't run over Mike.
Thanks.
You guys good?
Yeah. Are we looking at you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. There's the mic.
I'm Tiana Tozer, the lead plaintiff at the Portland 10. I became disabled in 1988 when a drunk driver ran a stop sign. It took me 3 weeks to realize how badly I was injured and that my life would never be the same. It took me 2 years to realize that by virtue of my disability, I was a second-class citizen. Disability Rights Oregon's stance on this issue confirms my second-class citizenship. They sued the state of Oregon to provide curb cuts so that people with mobility issues could access the sidewalks, but then refused to defend our rights to use them. Does that mean the state no longer has to comply? I would ask Disability Rights, but no one answers the phone. They appear to have limited understanding of what accessibility is. Council members, be assured that Disability Rights Oregon does not speak for the 82,709 Portlanders living with disability. It's not our rights they care about, it's their agenda. Being disabled doesn't exempt you from following the rules, and when someone expects less of you because of your disability, that is a pity pass. It is condescending and does nothing to further inclusion. It was a long road to this settlement. It took time away from my job. Yes, I work. I spent hours poring over tent and tarp distribution records. The city is reconsidering its relationship with the Joint Office of Homelessness, and you should. I used to audit federal grants in war zones, and I've seen better records than Multnomah counties in war zones. This settlement is not everything I'd hoped for, but for me, democracy has always been about compromise, contrary to progressive democracy in Portland, which seems to be screaming, rioting, and violence when you don't get your way. I urge you and all Portlanders to reject extremes and false narratives. We, your constituents with disabilities, are here today to urge you to uphold your obligation to provide us the access that is our right under the ADA. And I would remind all Oregonians in leadership positions, under Section 794 of the 29 U.S. Code, all federal grants and programs and the activities they fund are subject to the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I'm talking to you, Multnomah County.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Steve Jackson.
Hi, Steve.
Hello, my name's Steve Jackson. I'm part of this ADA lawsuit. I'd like to thank you for listening to me. Happy to be here. I also speak on behalf of other blind people that I know in town. I signed onto this because it was difficult for me to get to work without stepping on people that were passed out in the sidewalk, laying perpendicular, or tents that were blocking the entire sidewalk, where I had to, fall off the sidewalk into the street to get around them, and then they yell at me because I hit their tent with my cane, but they don't know. So I'm here to help clear the sidewalks, not just for me, but for all the citizens of Portland. It's getting out of control. I don't want little kids seeing their waste. I just want to help them, and this is the first step, I think, that will help some of these folks that need to get assistance. So thank you for negotiating this, or considering a negotiation, and I think it's wise that you would vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Mike Wallingford.
Hello, my name is Michael Wallingford. I'm a voting Democrat and member of Local 16. I'm also a Portland native, and I became involved in this because my ability to traverse the city was impacted by the homeless situation. I've had numerous encounters with the homeless, nothing too violent, but a couple altercations. I would say since the time that I was here last, I'm not really sure when that was. I think November. I've seen an improvement. We're not there yet, but I appreciate the improvements that have been established. There's still a lot more to go, and I look forward to being a part of this, to help.
Thank you.
Next
Thank
up,
you so much. We really appreciate. I just like to use all my time for my speaking, so I always forget the thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking is so fiery. It's very impressive.
We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
next up, we have Cody Hammerling, followed by Mark Barnhill and Autumn West.
Welcome.
Okay, you're with them. Yeah.
Are you going?
You're fine.
Am I talking now?
Who's talk up first?
Cody Hammerling.
All right. My name is Cody Hermeling, and I'm a more or less native Portlander. I've been here for a good 25 years now. Forgive me, as like being completely blind, I don't get to bring up a reference of notes to be able to key in on, but I'll try anyway. Being totally blind, pretty much walk out the door every day and you're playing pin the tail on the donkey, and it's quite difficult. It's difficult enough without tents in the sidewalk, and the fact that most tents that I've encountered have not even shown a minimal amount of respect to allow just enough room for people with wheelchairs or myself to just get through. They take up the entire sidewalk. It's incredible to me. But I'm forced to walk in the street with my dog. I can't see anything, obviously, and it's really scary. I went blind being hit by a car to begin with, and now I don't have a car around me to protect myself from the other car. So it's quite scary. I'm getting lost. Anyway, I appreciate everything being done. I finally feel like I might be able to actually visit or go out during the day now. I'd like to still be able to go out at night. 8 p.m. curfew, basically, to allow people to use tents at 8 p.m. throughout the night, pretty much amounts to a curfew for myself, and I'll be stuck in my house at that point. But, sorry, again, it's hard to bring everything together with what I'm saying, but there's plenty more blind people and other people with mobility challenges aside from us, and they just also have occupations to be to or other mobility challenges that don't allow them to be here today. And other than that, I'd really just like to thank all the plaintiffs to begin with, Tina Towser and Tiffany Hammer, for spearheading this whole thing. And if I was knowledgeable about what was happening, I would have been there to begin with, but I'm just happy that it's all happening and I can actually leave my house. It's nice, or it will be nice. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mark Barnhill.
Yes, my name is Mark Barnhill, and I live in the yards at Union Station off Natal Parkway. Mr. Mayor, I have to say thank you very much for the great job you're doing, and all the commissioners. You guys are doing a fantastic job. A while back, Mayor, you actually helped me with the ADA elevator. Would you believe it? It still isn't operating correctly.
I believe it.
Out of a year, out of a year of that elevator, we've only had a few weeks to have an elevator working properly for the handicap. and I brought this to you, and it's crazy. I mean, out of a year, here's the Union Station pedestrian ADA bridge. Portland is supposed to be in charge of that, but the elevators are split between two companies. The Yards has the east elevator, and Portland has the west elevator. Those elevators, when one breaks down, no one tells the Yards it's broke. You guys will shut it down, and Yards will be working. That doesn't work for handicapped with wheelchairs. So you get up, go all the way across, and find the elevators. Those elevators have got to be working together to make a point. If any of you want to contact me, I've got names and phone numbers, who to contact, and I've been on this for a while. Renee knows me. But if you guys want to get to contact me, go to Tiffany. She's got my number, my contacts. Again, you guys are doing a great job. This homeless thing is great. It's great for all the ABA and everything. I'd like to thank you all again for doing this. It'd be great. I feel that elevators aren't going to work correctly until the homeless situation gets straightened out. And a quick one here. He mentioned, the guy here earlier mentioned about the $100,000 done on ramps. BS. Because there's a lot of ramps out there that don't work properly for me. So if anybody needs to contact me, go through Tiffany. Thank you very much. And
Thank you. Appreciate your being here. Thank you. Thank you.
I know I'm not going to go anywhere until he goes first.
Next up, we have Autumn West.
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Kristen Olson. Is Kristen Olson here?
Could we have our blind gentleman here step in for that spot that's missing now?
And Kristen, you can come up as well. You bet. Sure.
Announce your name and your disability, okay? And then here's the...
Okay, they ready?
Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. Good morning.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wesley Brown. I've been a resident of Portland for 38 years. And lately, it's been that for many times when I've been like using the sidewalks to get around city to the places I need to go, I want to go, I find that I had to step into the street due to homeless encampments and tents taking up the entire width of the sidewalks, making it more dangerous for me, and also it makes it more dangerous for others. At one time, I was walking past a guy's tent, and he had left a couple feet behind his tent, between his tent and the fence that he had set his tent up alongside. But he had strung ropes from his tents to the fence, which had to step over and duck under. In the meantime, I heard the occupant of the tent say, "Hey, who is that? Who is that out there?" You know, I proceeded to go on. And one time I was walking past the tent, and a dog that just seemed to be unrestrained came out barking at me. I had no choice but to just had to continue on and hope for the best. The dog was muzzling my thighs. And one time I had a friend that said he found some bicycles blocking the sidewalk. He picked up to move the bicycles to the side so they weren't blocking the sidewalks. And two homeless men came out of the car and assaulted him. And also, I had been on your websites, and I look how you require restaurants, when they set up tables and seating on the sidewalks, that they're required to leave a path for passersby to get through. Why can't you do the same for tent campers on the sidewalk? So I appreciate your time and consideration, and I'd like to ask that the City of Portland seek and consider alternatives than the sidewalk for housing and accommodating the homeless. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Next up is Kristen Olson.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for hearing our testimony today. My name is Kristen Olson, and I own a small law firm downtown. I urge you all unanimously to vote to authorize the city attorney to settle the lawsuit filed by these amazing disabled individuals we've heard from today who never should have had to file this lawsuit. Thank you to the city for negotiating the settlement terms. The Ninth Circuit has been clear that cities are responsible for clearing sidewalks and for complying with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The settlement would help Portland finally get into compliance with the law. Finally, thank you, Mayor Wheeler, for your bold action regarding the restriction of public camping. As the daughter of a seriously mentally ill man who was homeless and is now dead, and the sister of a homeless opioid addict, it is inhumane and dangerous to allow people to live on the streets. And I thank you for setting up these alternatives, Mayor Wheeler and all the commissioners. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Jonathan Stockton.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good to see you today. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep,
okay.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, distinguished commissioners. I live in Northeast Portland. I've lived in Portland since 2009, and for the last few years, it has been exceedingly difficult to go about my day, go to my job, go to the grocery store, go anywhere without encountering these obstacles on the sidewalk. Originally, a couple of years ago, I lived in Southeast Portland, and it was particularly bad where I lived. The entire sidewalks were blocked off. I would have to walk in the street most of the time in order to go to my job. The people on the sidewalk, they would also keep very aggressive dogs. I've been attacked numerous times by these dogs. I have been physically attacked by these people. As others have said, when you bump their tents or whatever, they don't understand that you can't see that their tents are there. And in fact, the sidewalk is called the sidewalk. It's not called the side camp. And that is the point of it. So it's also a safety issue. There tend to be very disturbed people around here. One of my coworkers is also blind, is a guide dog user. She regularly has been stalked to work. One man once wrapped a chain around her dog's neck and tried to drag it away. Another one of my friends a few years ago was dragged into some bushes and raped. It is, I'm very grateful that you are listening to us today, and I hope you all vote yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Next up, we have Frank Blackston online.
Good morning, Frank.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Hey, great. Hello, City Council and fellow presenters. My name is Frank Blackston, and I live in Portland. I have a mobility disability. I lost my right leg in 2019, and I'm currently an above-knee amputee. I wear a prosthetic leg to walk. As you've heard, a clear sidewalk is vital and necessary for disabled persons to get around the city safely. This settlement helps all disabled residents, housed and unhoused. I ask all of City Council to approve this settlement, and I hope enforcement of this settlement is effective and swift. I want to take this opportunity to thank the plaintiffs and the lawyers in this case. I know you faced unfair and unjust criticism for this. The fact that it took this lawsuit to obtain ADA compliant access speaks to the lack of balance in our current programs and policies. Thank you for stepping up and taking action on this. I appreciate it. I also want to thank the city for negotiating the settlement and doing your part to help ensure ADA compliant access. This settlement is a step in the right direction. I'd be remiss if I didn't touch upon something that was brought up already. The city is but one player in this crisis, in this situation. The county and Joint Office of Homeless Services are not beholden to this agreement, from what I've heard, yet they play a huge part in this. So this is just my PSA to everybody: stay engaged, the county and Joint Office of Homeless Services. That is all I have. Thank you for letting me speak today, and this concludes my testimony.
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Cleric Heather Lynn Van Wild.
Welcome.
I'm probably going to be the contentious person here today. I'm not opposed per se to the settlement because I can certainly see the issues behind block sidewalks causing issues for disabled Portlanders. Clearly, I'm one of them. However, what I see here, combined with agenda item 151 that I plan to speak more about this afternoon, is a settlement that attacks one group of disabled people to make another group of disabled people feel better. I have no ill will towards the plaintiffs in the case, even if I've shared words with at least one of them previously. The problem is that the city has been failing in accommodation requests and shelter accessibility for homeless people for years. When I was homeless and in a shelter, I was lucky I didn't have this walker. Getting to my bed would have been impossible. Nothing I've seen has suggested that things have meaningfully improved since then. And yes, I know the city is not directly responsible for shelter management, but it's still a systemic issue. This lawsuit focused on downtown accessibility while East Portland languishes. I'm not talking about Cesar Chavez, East Portland. I'm talking about 148th, 162nd, East Portland. Many roads out there have no sidewalks at all. What sidewalks we have are frequently blocked by telephone poles or are damaged by road construction. When one such damage was just recently repaired near me, all it was asphalt dumped on the spot with no pressure to harden it. The walker and I both sunk into pitch that day, and I almost lost a nice pair of shoes. So go ahead and approve the settlement if you feel the need to continue stepping on the needs of disabled homeless people. But I hope you put more effort than this into addressing the needs of those same people and the people who don't live in the downtown core, yet call Portland home.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Next up, we have, sorry, lost my spot on the list. Monica Corey, followed by Tess Corey.
Welcome.
Hi there. I'm Monica, and I want to thank you for agreeing to the ADA settlement. I believe these stipulations are a great start in assuring that legally required use of access for the disabled residents of Portland and everyone else. Our streets, public spaces, and parks were not built to serve as campsites for those in despair, and worse, for lawless, drug-addicted, malnourished, or mentally challenged. We have to do better. Experienced outreach workers know that people living on the streets need more than a sandwich and a tent. They need guidance out of this costly, unsafe, and lawless lifestyle. Setting boundaries and providing options is the first step. I've said it before, you tell your kids no, you tell your dog no, and it's okay to tell people no, you cannot live in public spaces. I support the ADA agreement in total because of the rights of campers who refuse or cannot comply with longstanding rules and ordinances do not trump the rights of disabled or anyone else who's trying to navigate our city. I believe this is your chance. This is your chance to show the leaderships and strength in these matters that will start the huge pivot Portland needs to reclaim its livelihood. The majority of residents, I believe, appreciate everything that you are doing to set a new course for our city.
Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Tess Corey. I am 31 years old. I am neurodivergent. I don't always read situations correctly, and I have difficult time recognizing faces. This puts me at risk when I am out traveling alone and when using public transportation. It wasn't always this way. I used to be comfortable exploring, to say, riding on Max or buses, to go downtown, to go to Pal's Books, coffee shops, or just exploring. I haven't done that in years. I no longer feel safe. Drug-addicted people have approached me or threatened me, and that scares me. I used to be free, and now I feel like my wings have been clipped. It's not fun. Thank you for taking your time out, and I approve these steps.
Perfect. You did. Same thing.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Next up, we have Lance Goldenberg online, followed by Sarah Fisher and Sarah Hobbs. Go ahead, Lance.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, hi, Mayor Wheeler and council. First and foremost, I'd like to offer a huge thank you for finally giving people of Portland a little sanity and hope by agreeing to possibly agreeing to the ADA settlement agreement. The first and only other time I testified before this group was many years ago, when I focused on numerous instances I personally witnessed of disabled folks being denied access to sidewalks and in many cases directly put in harm's way, as campsites occupying critical public space. It's unfortunate it took a lawsuit to bring us to this point, but at least it's finally a decisive and humane step in the right direction. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to Commissioner Gonzalez for having the courage to halt the city's distribution of the tents and tarps that have exacerbated this crisis. And I urge the city to work with the county to encourage them to do the same with our tax dollars. And in conclusion, I just want to thank you again for voting on this much needed settlement agreement and for finally beginning to stand up to the incessant, extremely aggressive voices that have long dominated this discussion by shouting down and intimidating anybody who dares to disagree. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lance.
Next up, Sarah Fisher, followed by Sarah Hobbs.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler and commissioners. I'm Sarah Fisher. I'm the priest at Saints Peter and Paul Episcopal Church on Southeast 82nd Avenue. The Americans with Disabilities Act and I are old friends. In 1988 and 89, I worked for the ARC of Washington County as advocacy director. My colleagues and I followed closely the development and passage of the ADA. I was disappointed to learn about the religious lobby that pushed for exemption from the law, and grateful when many denominations declared that they would comply voluntarily because they believe in the rights of all people with disabilities to equal access to church as well as public facilities. I continue to agree with the principles demanding full access to all public facilities, including sidewalks, for all Portlanders. Everyone with disabilities deserves safe and equal access to public spaces. All Portlanders with disabilities deserve safe and equal access to housing, transportation, health care, and supportive community, including the 50 to 70% of unhoused Portlanders with disabilities, none of whom have an attorney from one of the nation's top law firms to advocate for them. This settlement does nothing for them. Access to shelter, health care, and public transportation is not just a public accommodation, it is a human right. I'm discouraged by a lawsuit that seems by design to create division between housed and unhoused Portlanders with disabilities. I ask this council to comply with the spirit of the ADA and uphold the rights of all Portlanders with disabilities to safe and equal access. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back, Sarah.
Next up, Sarah Hobbs.
For the record, my name is Sarah Hobbs, and I come from this issue from some unique perspectives. One thing I have never shared with any of you is the fact I, too, was homeless for 2.5 years. This is a good day. I am now 60. I was diagnosed at the age of 10 with a progressive movement disorder. I also live out in the Northwest Industrial District. It does not get the attention like, say, downtown and other places. I have had to deal with blocked sidewalks, but I still don't support sweeps. It's not going to solve the problem. The hope of getting them in the help is a potential good thing, no argument. It's just going to shift the problem to another part of the city. I have dealt in my neighborhood with blocked sidewalks. What I have done, and I heard the people who are vision impaired, I understand the concern. I'll stop and go, hey folks, you're actually breaking the law here and at risk of getting swept. You need to move your stuff closer to the curb, leave a space for people with mobility devices even bigger than my walker to get through. And I only had one person be nasty, and I've gone back, seen the same groups, and the sidewalks are not blocked. I'm wondering if some education might not help. I do not want to downplay the concerns of the people who have spoken today who are vision impaired. They can't see what's in front of them, and I acknowledge that. I have run out of time. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. It's good seeing you again.
Next up, we have Susan Subert. In person, Susan Subert. Next, we have Joe Pearson. All right, let's, Sandra Olgan. Sandra Olgan. How about Marianne Gafanti? Followed by Tim Larson.
Hi, Mary. Thanks for being here.
Hello. My name is Mary Ann Gafanti. First, let me thank my fellow Portlanders who filed the class action lawsuit that brought the issue of disability rights to the forefront. I am a person experiencing Parkinson's disease. One of the symptoms I experience is very poor balance. I'm at constant risk of falling, and I must use a walker whenever I leave my home. I must be very careful. It's me and my walker versus the concrete. The Americans with Disabilities Act is a great boon to me. The components of the ADA, curb cuts, ramps, handrails, automatic door openings, close-in parking, bigger bathroom stalls, all help me participate in public life safely and more easily. To expect me, or frankly even fully mobile people, to be forced off sidewalks and into streets in order to avoid tents and garbage and other impediments is really an outrageous violation of the spirit of the ADA. I have been in that situation, and it is nerve-wracking and dangerous. It must be even more fraught for people in wheelchairs. As regards the settlement being considered today, the city should indeed aggressively prioritizing clearing sidewalks of tents, garbage, and other impediments. Giving violators 3 strikes is very generous, I must say. I hope the vote today in support of the settlement is unanimous. I know the city is working to reduce the number of unhoused people and provide them services. But in the meantime, the rights of mobility impaired people to trying to safely navigate public spaces must be protected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Tim Larson. Tim Larson, followed by Eric Fruits.
Welcome.
Welcome. Good morning. Mayor Wheeler, City Commissioners, I'm Eric Fruits, Portland resident and business owner. My, how time flies. It's hard to believe that it was 7 years ago that Charlie Hales cemented his role as the worst mayor in Portland history when he started allowing sidewalk camping. It was a disaster then, it's a disaster now. In fact, a recent poll that just came out yesterday showed that 75% of Portland voters say that the situation is an out-of-control disaster. Today, you will be voting on 2 ordinances to bring that situation back under control. The first is to approve this ADA settlement that's before you now. As you know, the city has an obligation under federal law to make public facilities accessible to people with disabilities. It's not a suggestion, it's not a good idea, it's a federal obligation. With this settlement, the city is accepting that obligation with concrete steps to ensure the sidewalks are accessible to everyone, the able-bodied, the disabled, residents, visitors, the housed, and the unhoused. This is a settlement you should be proud of. An overwhelming majority of voters in that survey support this settlement. Can you think of any ordinance that you have voted on that had the support of 83% of Portlanders? 83%. That's phenomenal. It's so popular because it is the right thing to do. Voters know it, and you know it. When this settlement goes into effect, you will see noticeable improvements throughout the city. People will return to downtown, crime will decrease, and we'll have fewer out-of-control campfires. To be sure, this settlement is not a panacea. It is just one big step. The next step is this afternoon to update Portland's public camping restrictions. That ordinance also has overwhelming support of more than 70% of voters. The ADA settlement before you and this afternoon's update are the first of these long-awaited steps. You should be proud of yourselves for voting for it, and I urge you to do so. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Next up, we have Joshua Woods. Joshua Woods. How about Jeffrey Litticoat? Jeffrey Litticoat. Jason Sasla. Jason Sasla. How about Thomas Stenson? Thomas Stenson. Andrew Wilson. Followed by Leslie Bienin and Serenity Ebert.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity. My name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Safety and Security and the Chief Safety Officer for TriMet, so I'm testifying on behalf of your friends and partners at TriMet this morning. I want to remind everybody that TriMet's riders and pedestrians are pedestrians first and last. While we at TriMet work to make trips safe and accessible, we need cities and counties, like the City of Portland, to ensure safe access to our public transit system. For those using mobility devices and with mobility issues, a tent in a sidewalk or in an access area to public transit can be a very unsafe impediment. They are often caused to go out into the street or navigate off of the sidewalk, as you've heard this morning, and create an unsafe condition and disallow their use of public transit. We appreciate our partners at the City of Portland working to restore that access through this settlement. And we appreciate it because this is going to allow us the ability to ensure safe and reliable access to those who depend upon our system at TriMet the most. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for being here. We appreciate it. It's good to see you. Thank you.
Next up, we have Leslie Bienin online.
Hi, my name is Leslie Bienin. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk. I am urging the city to vote to accept the terms of the settlement being offered. As an able-bodied and sighted person, I am completely baffled how anyone without those advantages can make their way around the city of Portland as it stands right now. I actually considered suing the city myself. In the winter, when I was attacked by a pit bull walking by a homeless camp that was blocking both the sidewalks in my neighborhood, so I was walking in the middle of the road. I have numerous times had to run away from people camping who were threatening and menacing to me, and I wondered during those times how people who did not have that capability are able to deal with the threats of our city. I've literally run away from menacing people and been very glad that I have the body that I have. I'm also a little bit puzzled by previous people who spoke today talking about the spirit of the law, of federal law. These are just conjectures. The federal law spells out very clearly that this is an unacceptable situation, and I don't think the city has any choice in addressing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Serenity Ebert. Serenity, you're muted. Serenity, are you able to unmute?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is, excuse me. My name is Serenity Ebert, and I am a disabled woman living downtown. I am the vice chair of BiCloud, but I am here today speaking to you as a private citizen. Clearing tents is not a victory for the ADA. It is a crime against the citizens of Portland and a crime against humanity. There are better ways to make the sidewalks safer for people with disabilities without violating the rights of homeless people. Many of the people living on the streets of Portland are also disabled. They were disabled, they were displaced and forced onto the streets by lack of access to affordable housing and adequate care. You cannot simply clear tents without giving people safe, viable, and accessible housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Serenity.
Next up, we have Thomas Stenson online.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and members of City Council. My name is Thomas Stenson. I'm the Deputy Legal Director at Disability Rights Oregon, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about this proposed settlement. I've heard a lot of anger and upset from people in the disability community about blocked sidewalks, and that's an issue near and dear to my heart as well. But I don't believe that this settlement is a good way to address the ongoing problems. In April and May of 2022, the city conducted mass concerted camp clearances in Old Town. They cleared 343 camps in a matter of a couple months. Yet, a few months later, the plaintiffs in this very case, in September of 2022, identified Old City as one of the worst places for being a pedestrian with disabilities. Why is it that we're focusing then on clearing camps when there's a clear record that they don't work? They don't make the city more accessible. We've been doing this for years, and it does not improve the overall accessibility of the city. Why? Because if you kick somebody off one stretch of sidewalk and they have no place to go, they're just going to move to a different piece of sidewalk. And completely absent from this settlement is any provision for housing for people. You have to give people someplace else to go in order for them to get off the sidewalk. In Los Angeles, there was a similar lawsuit that was brought, but a very different settlement. And the settlement was focused around getting a lot more resources behind actually providing housing so that people could go somewhere when they leave the sidewalk. And that's completely absent from this settlement. This settlement is not going to improve the overall accessibility in the long term for people who need to use the sidewalk.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Alan Comness.
Welcome, Alan.
Worked really hard to make sure this is up on my tablet. All right, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and council members. My name is Alan Combs, pronouns he, him, a resident of Portland for 23 years. I urge you to approve the settlement before you today to resolve the lawsuit by plaintiffs who have been denied effective and safe access in public areas as required under the American Disabilities Act. A belief I and many fellow Portlanders hold is that this city can still be a model of sustainable urban community, a city that promotes density and provides a place and work in a manner that is resilient to long-term challenges, including income inequality and climate change, among others. Cities are our future, and Portland can sustainably grow into the city we all want if we can retain and attract residents of all stripes, including people who need access and safety in public spaces. The plaintiffs filed their suit because their needs have been patently unmet. But in the long run, all Portlanders need what the plaintiffs need. The good news, and let's think about this, is that Portland over the last few decades has made great strides in improving the built environment to accommodate the differently abled as required by the ADA. I think we should all note that, right? Ms. Tozer, one of our plaintiffs, has mentioned that she moved to Portland because it provided community and the built environment she needed. Among other communities, we want to attract the people you see before you today. The commitments the city makes in the settlement are a way to unlock that prior investment and quickly improve accessibility and safety. The settlement is also compatible with the direction the city can take to get the unhoused off our streets and into shelters where they can get urgently needed services. Please do not see this settlement, as others have, as the unhoused versus the disabled. See it as an acceleration towards improved public spaces that will improve the lives for all Portlanders. I know the settlement required both sides to work together towards a solution, so let me commend Mayor Wheeler and his staff, as well as the plaintiffs, for reaching the settlement you are to approve today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Stein Nielsen online, followed by Reed Zielinski and Charlene Penny.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Thank you, council members, and especially thank you to the staff of the City of Portland for keeping our city working. I'd like to share with you a story that happened last week to me. I was at one of Portland's great businesses called Migration Brewing, and they brew a great IPA called Straight Out of Portland. But they also brewed a new IPA called Migration IPA, which they brought in a can and just released and shared with some friends of mine. We asked, why are they brewing a new IPA when they have an award-winning Straight Out of Portland IPA? They said it doesn't sell outside of Portland because it says Portland on it. We need to stop the lawlessness in the city, and this is a step in the right direction. So passing this settlement is a step in the right direction of a huge environmental impact here in Portland, besides the one that's been mentioned in this settlement. It's the impact of the Portland brand, and we need to fix that. And you, being the faces of the city of Portland, are responsible for that. So thank you for taking a step in the right direction, and I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thanks, Stein.
Next up, we have Reed Zielinski. Is Reed Zielinski here? And finally, Charlene Penny.
Last but not least.
Yes. And I wasn't prepared for this because I didn't get a confirmation that I saw in my email, but I will do my best.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I am actually disabled, but I want to impress on you that it is very important that you pass this and work with the ADA code because of the disabilities. And I understand these people who are speaking out against displacing the homeless. I don't know if they're knowledgeable about your next agenda item in the afternoon to address the camping, the illegal camping, and I'm sure you'll have more outbursts at that meeting than you will this one. But I'm just saying, I think that'll address, that goes along with this ADA access. I think both of them together will make a concise plan on how to address it. My only question about this afternoon is, have you guys designated a place where they are going to be moved to? Because I know I live in Molalla. We're working on that there too. We actually have designated a place, and I haven't seen anything in writing about designation. So that's my only concern on the afternoon agenda, but that's all I have to say. Please support this. And I think if it works together with both of them, I think at some point you will have a happy city. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Thank you.
That completes testimony.
All right, very good. Thank you, everybody, for being here and testifying today, and thank you for your patience. I know it's been a long morning, but we appreciate the different perspectives that have been shared with us. Colleagues, any questions or further thoughts before we call the roll on the emergency ordinance? Please call the roll.
Ryan.
First of all, thank you to everyone who came to testify this morning on both sides of this settlement. Your lived experience, your truth on this important matter was compelling. The settlement is a step in the right direction to ensure that all Portlanders can navigate our sidewalks safely. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I want to thank the plaintiffs in this case and all that testified today. The lawsuit should not have been necessary for the city to do what is right, but I'm glad you filed it. We have been too slow in addressing unsanctioned camping and crime on our streets. Our society has failed to address effectively debilitating hard drug use and untreated mental illness. And we see that manifested on our streets. It disproportionately impacts our disabled, our children, our seniors, our most vulnerable. So I fully support this settlement. It's one step in a long journey to retake our city. I vote aye.
Maps.
I'd like to thank everyone who testified on this item. I vote aye.
Rubio.
Thanks to everyone who testified today and to our attorneys that work with the plaintiffs in this case. I also just want to recognize that, mobility, folks with mobility disability should be able to freely enjoy the sidewalks and make their way through zones just the same as anybody without obstruction. And I also recognize the city has to wrestle with balancing the needs of those with disabilities with people who are experiencing houselessness, who have limited options of where to stay. It's a tough balance to strike. However, I'm supportive that the parties have come to an agreement. So I vote aye.
Wheeler.
So one arcane point I'd like to make, because people do ask, why didn't you do this earlier? And I want to remind people that for 3 years we're following CDC guidance, both with regard to not sweeping tent sites, as well as the reality that we had fewer shelter beds online. And Martin v. Boise did not go away during COVID, so that was still a concern first and foremost in our minds, that we upheld constitutional rights as well as follow CDC guidance during a global pandemic. That being said, it's very common for me to get sued in my role as the mayor of this city, and I don't always welcome being sued. This is a notable exception. And I had the opportunity to meet with some of the plaintiffs in court, and I said then what I will say now, which is I agree with you. I agree with the reasons that the lawsuit was filed. I agree that people should have rights to access our sidewalks without impediment, regardless of whether they have disabilities or not. I believe this is something that all people in this community should enjoy, but the ADA is very explicit about the rights of people with disabilities, and I believe those rights were impinged by the large number of obstructions on our sidewalks. I also want to address some of the concerns that were expressed here. There were individuals who said, well, this ADA lawsuit in and of itself will not solve the problem. I could not agree more. The ADA lawsuit is not intended as a comprehensive solution to homelessness. It is a statement about rights and upholding rights under the Constitution and the Americans with Disabilities Act. We are also engaged in other strategies. As some of you had indicated this afternoon, we're going to be taking up our time, place, and manner restrictions. Yes, I expect that to be somewhat of a hot meeting, but it's an important subject. But it's also, these two things aren't nearly the end. We also talk about shelter. We talk about transitional housing. We have our temporary alternative shelter sites that are coming online. That is the answer to the question that was asked about where is the place that people can go? If not here, then where? The temporary alternative shelter sites are intended to navigate people towards case management, towards behavioral health services, towards substance use disorder treatment, towards basic health care, and importantly, in our partnership with the county, navigation towards housing. And in some cases, it will be required to be supportive housing. So we are mindful of the fact that just moving people from one location to another is not a solution to housing. Indeed, these other services are critical components in combination with the lawsuit that we're speaking about here today. I believe we can uphold two sides of the coin. One side of the coin is community expectations, communities' desire to not be impacted by public safety, public health, sidewalk impediments, or other concerns around livability. I believe we can uphold those community standards. And I believe we can also be compassionate and offer people off-ramps from their homeless situation into better circumstances. And so that's the way I view this. This is a balancing act. Today's discussion addresses an important part of it, but not the total solution that this council discusses over the course of many different sessions under different circumstances. So I just want to, again, thank the Portlanders who came forward. First of all, those of you who filed the lawsuit, that was an act of courage. It was also an act of community leadership. Fighting for civil rights, I believe, is a just thing. I also believe that the way it was handled by the plaintiffs and the lawyers, the attorneys for the plaintiff, was an honorable way to go about this. I also want to acknowledge that this settlement today does include reasonable attorneys' fees determined by the court for the plaintiff's lawyers. I think that is entirely fair under this settlement, and I'm glad that my colleagues have already voted to support that. I also want to thank the many, many city bureaus and my fellow commissioners and leaders within the city, particularly within the Bureau of Transportation, the Impact Reduction Program, the attorneys' offices, the commissioners' offices, and many, many others who helped us as a city pave the way to reach a settlement with the plaintiffs that I think is a really strong and important step in the right direction. You're going to need to continue to hold the city accountable. There are very specific requirements in this settlement agreement. Today's vote in the affirmative is merely an agreement that we will uphold the specific requirements of the settlement. And as we know from other types of settlements that we agreed to, that requires ongoing diligence and thoughtfulness. And I know that you will keep us all honest with regard to upholding not only this spirit, but the letter of the settlement agreement that we are accepting here today. I vote aye. The ordinance is adopted. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Colleagues, I've had a request, and I personally agree with this request, that we take a 15-minute recess. If that's okay, we will reconvene. It's 12:25. Can we reconvene at 12:40, please?
Thank you, City Council.
Thank you. Thank you. We're in recess. Thank you, everyone. Item number 436 from the regular agenda. This is a second reading.
Amend Joint Office of Homeless Services intergovernmental agreement with Multnomah County to extend the term of the agreement.
Colleagues, this is a second reading. We've already heard a presentation and had public testimony. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Yes, this amended contract corrects the elements of our current IGA agreement that has been missing: transparency, accountability, and collaboration, something I've been asking for since day one of my service. I have the utmost respect for the new Joint Office Director, Dan Field. With his leadership and the leadership of Chair Vega Peterson, I believe there is hope for an improved partnership with the Joint Office. Our two governments must work together. Shared goals, shared collaboration, and measured outcomes will ensure results for our homeless population. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
So I'm going to vote aye on this extension as amended with the amendment from last week. I do want to put on the record a couple of elements. I believe the Joint Office on Homelessness lacks a comprehensive strategy. As of today, lacks clear measures, and as of today, lacks good outcomes. And so I vote to extend with some incremental steps that we included last week. It is a vote of confidence in Director Dan Field. It is a vote of confidence in the mayor and the chair that they can continue to work together to build a more effective team and program. But it is not without trepidation. And I will not vote to extend past December if we don't see substantial progress on strategy, metrics, and outcomes. With that, vote aye.
Maps.
I'm going to vote no on this item. But before I explain my vote, let me say this. First, of course, I believe that there is a need for cooperation and coordination between the City of Portland and Multnomah County on homelessness services. I also want to say I am hopeful about the new leadership at Multnomah County. At the same time, I strongly suspect that every member of this council and every member of the Multnomah County Board of Commissioners agrees that the contract we are voting on today is deeply flawed. In addition, I argue that the failure to reduce the number of people who sleep on our streets is in part a product of the flaws which are baked into the contract we are voting on today. I also contend that when it comes to houseless policy, it is time for this council to stop doing the same thing over and over again and expect to get different and better results. Finally, I assert that it is past time that the City of Portland and Multnomah County sign a joint office contract which clearly specifies the parts of the houselessness crisis which are a city responsibility, the parts of this houselessness crisis which are a county responsibility, the parts of this houselessness crisis which are a shared responsibility, and finally, the contract which we sign should provide the city with some control over how the $40+ million a year this council allocates to the joint office every year are spent. I look forward to the day when this council is asked to vote on a joint office contract that contains these common sense safeguards. Unfortunately, the contract we're being asked to renew today does not contain these common sense practices, which is why I vote no.
Rubio.
As I shared last week, I'm feeling really hopeful about the increased partnership and coordination between the city and the governor, and also among all of us with the county and also Urban Alchemy over the last few months. And for me, I really wanted to walk our talk about building a better partnership and a fresh start with the county. And this means engaging with transparency and collaboration. And it's the leadership, the community has clearly told us that they want to see from us working together. I believe we can be successful and finally build a fuller continuum of support for many different individual needs and provide a path away from the houseless crisis and over time over time, hopefully housing for all. This one-year extension will allow us to continue working across all governments to build better systems and investments that Portlanders are counting on. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Colleagues, I want to thank you all for the discussion that we had last week. I thought it was very thorough, and I appreciate that we looked at all sides of this potential IGA. I want to underscore that this is an act of faith. As my colleagues had said, there is a hope that there is an improved partnership between the City of Portland and our county partners through the Joint Office of Homeless Services. I want to again share my gratitude for Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson. She has been a partner at every step of the way since becoming chair, and I want to thank her for that. She's committed to providing wraparound services at our temporary alternative shelter sites, including housing navigation, setting up a data task force, launching Built for Zero, advocating to provide the city $20 million in ongoing revenue from unallocated SHS funding to operate temporary alternative shelter sites. She's acted in good faith, and I'm looking forward to seeing the outcomes of this work ahead. We're moving in the right direction, and I look forward to continued partnership from the county and the joint office and the state as we work together to reduce unsheltered homelessness and to provide services to people experiencing homelessness across Portland. Again, if we are truly going to solve the problem and if we truly acknowledge the state of affairs on our streets, then the partnership with the county is critical in terms of delivering behavioral health and substance use disorder treatment and basic health care, and importantly, navigation to housing reserved for those who are in the temporary alternative shelter sites. We can't do that independently of a county partnership. And as Commissioner Rubio indicated, the public wants to see us work together and bring what we each have as strengths and responsibilities and streams of funding to the table and demonstrate that we can get along for the purpose of solving the most intractable social issue of our times. I did support Commissioner Ryan's amendment, and I continue to support it. I will say, just as a cautionary note, I've had further discussions with the county chair, and we should prepare for the possibility that that will not pass the county and that it would then in fact come back to the city for rework. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. I vote aye, and this non-emergency ordinance is adopted as amended. Thank you, everybody, for your hard work.
Mayor, may I ask?
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Can I, just to clarify then mechanically how we think this is going to work. So we've adopted this, it will go to the county for approval. Assuming that they approve it for a moment, the annual budget specifies in the amendment that the city is required to adopt a resolution by council agreeing with the county's budget appropriation for the joint office for the fiscal year. So how mechanically, time-wise, would that work? Just to clarify for everyone.
I'll defer to legal counsel on that question.
Okay.
Yeah, and Commissioner, I do not know, but I can have Robert Taylor come down and clarify. Can we take that up a little bit?
Yeah, I just want to put that out, that we should
Okay.
be talking through the mechanics just
Sure,
so that we can all visualize how the next couple of weeks go on this.
Understood. I'm not specifically familiar, but I will ask Robert to come down and kind of make sure that that's clear.
And it doesn't have to be today. We can
Oh.
clarify this just in the coming days. Thank you.
Even better. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you all. Appreciate it. We will now move, let's see, we've already done 437 and 438. We will move to 439, please.
Ratify collective bargaining agreement with American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local 189, for represented employees within the Auditor's Office for 2022 through 2025.
Colleagues, historically, the Auditor's Office has been a non-represented bureau. In May of 2021, this Bureau of Non-Rep Employees was organized by Ask Me Local 189. In September of 2021, the city's labor relations team, attorney's office, and auditor's management staff began bargaining with Ask Me Local 189 to negotiate an agreement that established a solid foundation for this new bargaining unit moving forward. City of Portland Auditor Simone Reddy and Labor Relations Manager Jarell Gaddis are here to present the ordinance. Welcome, Madam Auditor, and Jarell, thanks for being here. Sorry for the delay. We appreciate your patience.
Thank you. I'm here with Josh McNeil, who is the Business Operations Manager in the Auditor's Office, and I believe Jarell has joined us virtually, so I will introduce him as also.
Thanks. Welcome, Josh.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and fellow Portlanders. My name is Simone Reddy. I'm City Auditor for the people of Portland. As your elected auditor, I seek to ensure open and accountable city government. I'm really pleased to share this milestone with all of you. This first contract marks the end of nearly 18 months since negotiations began and the beginning of a more stable future for the Auditor's Office. The contract outlines employment terms and conditions for 21 positions in our office, and people in these roles deliver high-quality services across archives, council clerk and contracts, the ombudsman, elections, and audit services. Having a collective bargaining agreement in place helps us serve the public with greater reliability, and it also creates a blueprint for countless members of the accountability community. I first want to thank City Council for their support of this contract and their willingness to put aside our differences for the sake of employees. Though we have disagreed on process, I really appreciate our commitment to the outcome, which is an agreement that really reflects the values of the city, specifically transparency, equity, and fiscal responsibility, and respects the independence of the Auditor's Office. I also want to thank leaders of AFSCME Local 189 for their partnership. President Rob Martineau is here. His openness and trust have been really instrumental to this achievement. I also want to thank union representatives, Bao, Devon, and Mindan for speaking up on behalf of employees in our office. They've been steadfast in their advocacy for fairness in this contract. And finally, I want to thank the Bureau of Human Resources for being flexible. I'm very grateful for their swift action and their timely communication over the past 2 months, and I really look forward to our continued cooperation as we implement this contract. If there are no questions for us, I'd like to invite Jarell from the Bureau of Human Resources to make his presentation.
Thank you, Auditor Reddy. Council and Mayor, this is a great day today for us. As Auditor Reddy has said, this has been going on for almost 2 years, and with a accumulation of a lot of things that have happened. But at the end of the day, it showed with collaboration, union, bureau, our council, what we can achieve. And so in that, I want to commend everybody involved. And it's just a representative of how the city can work when we go through collective bargaining, and the results is this fiscally responsible contract that we'll have through 2025. Thank you.
Does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
It does, thank you.
Oh, excellent, great. Colleagues, any questions at this point? Is there any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
This is an emergency ordinance. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Wow, what a journey. I'd like to thank Madam Auditor Reddy. Thank you for the way you've shown up of late on this, and your employees, and the laborers for their combined efforts to see this through. This has been quite a journey, as I said. It's refreshing to see that collaboration ruled out at the end of the day. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I just want to thank Madame Auditor and the whole team that got us here. So thank you very much for your work. I vote aye.
Maps.
Really glad to see this resolved. I vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to also appreciate Madam Auditor Reddy for her leadership and the care that she's demonstrated for her staff, and also the efforts of the Labor Relations team, and also Rob and the AFSCME team for working on this for so long, and everyone for staying together at the table to arrive at a fair contract. Very happy to vote aye.
Wheeler.
Thank you. I'll just say ditto to what my colleagues said, Rob and Auditor Reddy, thank you, and your terrific team for sticking to this and putting forward a really good proposal that we can all accept. Thanks. It's a great step in the right direction. I vote aye, and the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Next item, please, is, if I can go through my paper here, 443, please.
Vacate a portion of Southwest Greenleaf Court east of Southwest Greenleaf Drive, subject to certain conditions and reservations.
Commissioner Mapps.
Thank you. Since we're tight on time today, so I'm going to cut my comments short. Colleagues, this is a straightforward street vacation, and with that, I'll just turn it over to staff for the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, hello, my name is Claudia Echeverria. I am here today with my colleague, Lance Lindahl. We're here from PBOT Right-of-Way Acquisition, and we're here to discuss the proposed vacation for a portion of Southwest Greenleaf Court and east of Southwest Greenleaf Drive. Next slide. Here's an aerial image showing the surrounding area. This is a residential neighborhood in the Portland Heights portion of Southwest Portland. Next slide. This section of street is currently unimproved and it is not open to through traffic. This vacation will create 2 dead-end segments of public street. Next slide. Here's a recent photo showing the area to be vacated. This is from Southwest Greenleaf Court looking easterly. As you can see, there's a steep grade. There is a 35-foot drop from east to west ends of the vacation area. Next slide.
Okay, this is a pretty unique street vacation for us. The petitioner requested that the vacation occur in order to consolidate property so that he can place a gate across his driveway. And the driveway is currently located within the public right-of-way, and the petitioner reports that drivers often are directed onto this narrow driveway area by different mapping apps and people's instructions. And that it then becomes very difficult for vehicles to turn around. And having been out there a couple of weeks ago to post the notice on the site, I can attest that even in my compact car, it was quite a challenge getting navigated back out of there and back into the open lanes of traffic. So really compelling case for a vacation on this one. City bureaus are in support. Oh, I'm sorry, next slide.
Yeah, next slide.
City bureaus are in support on this one. A couple minor conditions of approval. Development Services is requiring a replat for the properties to both the north and the south in order to consolidate historic lot lines so that frontage requirements are met. And also the Bureau of Environmental Services is requiring a 15-foot wide easement for an existing sewer main and maintenance access point. Next slide. All right, that wraps up the presentation. If there's any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Is there any public testimony on this item?
We have one person sign
Why
up.
don't we go ahead and hear that while people think about questions they might want to ask?
Okay.
We have Danelle Eisenhart. Danelle, you're muted.
There we go. It had to reconnect me. I had been on here all day, I guess. Thank you all. I'm Danelle Eisenhart. I am with Amerio Design, and we're the engineering office planner. And we just agree with staff. We have, I just want to note that both replats are in. They have been deemed complete, and the notices went out today on those. So we're working through that process because these need to kind of go hand in hand. The right-of-way vacation and the replats need to kind of record back to back. So this is where we're kind of going through that process to kind of deal with that. That's all I have. If you have questions, I can try to help answer as well.
That completes testimony.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions on this item? Any further discussion? This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you. Next item is 444, also a non-emergency ordinance.
Vacate a portion of North Kirby Avenue south of North Halleck Street, subject to certain conditions and reservations.
Commissioner Maps.
Colleagues, this is another straightforward street vacation. I'll just turn it back over to staff.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, again, Lance Lindahl, Peabot right-of-way acquisition. This vacation is for a portion of North Kirby Avenue south of North Halleck Street. Next slide, please. Quick aerial picture of the area. You can see here we're in an industrial area located between I-5 to the west and North Vancouver Avenue to the east. And the Union Pacific Railroad tracks form a physical barrier between this area and the residential neighborhood to the immediate south. Next slide. Current conditions, the area is currently zoned for heavy industrial with an aircraft landing and prime industrial overlay. The area proposed for vacation is the one block segment shown here on the north side of the railroad tracks, and there is no history of a railroad crossing at this location. Next slide. As with many of our vacations, we're vacating an old street area that came to us through a subdivision plat from over 100 years ago when the neighborhood looked quite different. Connecting streets to the east were previously vacated through past council actions. And when presenting this one at the Planning and Sustainability Commission recently, they voiced strong support for this vacation since it promotes industrial expansion and job creation at a time when industrial land is at a premium in the immediate area. Next slide. Conditions of approval, as with the last vacation, this one has kind of the standard conditions of approval. We're looking at this one, there's some built improvements that are going to have to be constructed in order to kind of mark the end of the public right-of-way. So we're asking for a bond to be in place for future sidewalk improvements. Next slide. The other conditions of approval include development services, the standard replat requirement for frontage requirements. Also, BDS addressing a corporate BTS corporate GIS are asking that there be a readdressing of properties that are going to lose the frontage on North Kirby. Again, very standard. And also, Water Bureau is asking that the existing water main connections be transferred to a line in North Halleck Street, and that the work be done by the Water Bureau at the petitioner's expense. Also, they've also asked for the lot consolidation process to happen to remove the landlocked parcel issue. Next slide. So this vacation request came to us from Hauser Steel. They're a local business involved with steel metal fabrication. And this vacation will allow them to better secure their facility and to provide room for future expansion. And next slide. And that wraps up my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions? Do we have public testimony on this matter?
No one signed up.
All right, this is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. We'll move on to 1, 2, 3, 4 second readings. 4, 4, 6, please. Second reading.
Authorize the rates and charges for water and water-related services beginning July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, and fix an effective date.
Second reading. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
No. The ordinance passes. 447, a second reading.
Amend permit fee schedules for building, cannabis, electrical, enforcement, land use services, mechanical, noise, plumbing, signs, site development, and land use service fee schedule for the hearings office.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank Elshad and Kyle for the thorough presentation last week, and this schedule ensures continued momentum toward more timely and predictable service at a time when we're in critical need of housing supply. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Narrow charges being incurred by those who actually go through the application process. I vote aye. The ordinance is adopted. 448.
Authorize intergovernmental agreement with Regional Disaster Preparedness Organization to allow building-related stranded workers to work in the jurisdiction where they are stranded due to an emergency that disrupts communication and transportation routes.
Second reading. Any further discussion? Seeing Commissioner Gonzalez, you bet.
Just minor comment. Appreciate the work by BDS to connect with PBEM since last week. That was a necessary input into this process from my vantage point. So just want to air my appreciation for that interaction.
Very good. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Thank you, Mark, Matt, and Ann for your presentation on this item. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 449, a second reading.
Revised solid waste and recycling rates and fees for franchised residential collection and the commercial tonnage fee effective July 1st, 2023.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank Evan and Donnie for their presentation last week. We need to continue investing in the necessary resources to ensure Portland remains a leader in the recycling and composting field. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
I applaud the city's efforts, and Commissioner Rubio and Donnie and others. I'm disappointed in the Metro portion of this. The Metro staff made a recommendation about a particular fee increase. The Metro Council then decided to exceed that rate increase. That defies, in my opinion, either logic or common sense, and it certainly is not in alignment with the current needs of people in our community who are struggling financially. If staff had made a recommendation that the services could be provided with a lower fee increase, I don't understand why the Metro Council would approve an even larger fee increase to be paid for by the people of this community. I vote no. The ordinance is adopted. Back to the pulled item, which was 431, and I believe that's our last item this morning, morning in heavy air quotes. 431, please.
Pay settlement of Heather Lynn Van Wild bodily injury lawsuit for $26,000 involving the Portland Police Bureau.
Colleagues, sorry, I've got the wrong one. 431, that's why it didn't make sense. This ordinance resolves a suit brought against the city in August of 2022. Chief Deputy City Attorney Lynn Vu and Senior Claims Analyst Dave Farrow are here to walk us through the ordinance. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Lynn Vu. I'm a Chief Deputy City Attorney. This settlement resolves claims brought by Heather Lynn Van Wild. Ms. Van Wild identifies as a person with disabilities and uses a walker. On August 23rd, 2020, Ms. Van Wild attended a protest event related to the murder of George Floyd. Prior to the event, Ms. Van Wild emailed Portland Police Bureau and other city employees to request disability-related accommodations to be provided during the protests, or during protests, excuse me. No city employee responded to the email. During the protest event, Ms. Van Wild was sitting on the steps of the Boys and Girls Club located on Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Her walker was next to her. After PPB declared a riot and in clearing the area, a PPB police officer moved Ms. Van Wild's walker out of her reach, causing her to fall and sustain injuries. Ms. Van Wild has brought federal claims under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Rehabilitation Act, and the 4th and 14th Amendments, as well as state law claims of assault and battery. The parties participated in a judicial settlement conference on February 7th, 2023. The parties have then since agreed to settle this matter for $26,000, inclusive of attorney's fees, economic and non-economic damages. The City Attorney's Office and Risk Management both recommend approval of the settlement. I'm happy now to answer any questions you might have.
Colleagues, any question? Very good. I understand there are people who would like to testify on this. We've been limiting testimony to 2 minutes. We'll extend it to 3 minutes as a courtesy.
Okay, first up, we have Heather Lynn Van Wild.
Welcome.
Mayor, I would request, given the difficulties I've had over the holiday weekend trying to coordinate with your office for the ability to put a presentation together, a fairly brief one, as well as concerns about some misrepresentations from the city's presentation just now, I would request the opportunity to read a statement that is up to 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to decline. 3 minutes. The council can overrule me, but I don't think they will. and we can always accept written testimony. I've already increased it as a courtesy. We'd be happy to receive written testimony, but I cannot extend a 10-minute testimony. I didn't do it for anybody this morning. We had dozens of people sign up, so I'm disinclined to make a special accommodation.
Then I will skip the entire thing that I obsessed over this weekend. This press helmet was what I was wearing. It was not that I was attending a protest as a protester that night. I was attending a protest as a journalist. Judge Simon and the federal court had already signed, and the city had stipulated to, a protective order protecting journalists and legal observers from assault, excessive force, and dispersal orders that were as active well before this incident and only just got dissolved this past Friday. This is a very distinctive helmet, very distinctive lettering. There was absolutely no way that the police officer could have mistaken me for anything other than a journalist who was not engaging in any other unprotected First Amendment activity. The fact that those violations have been walked through time and time again in violation of Portland Police Manual codes and city codes was frankly an affront to common decency, an affront to the First Amendment, and ironically, considering today has been ADA Day, a massive affront to the Americans with Disabilities Act. This ordinance today is not going to solve any of the underlying problems. I will go ahead and read the last paragraphs that I had here. All this settlement does is help to offset some of the injuries that come from one event with lifelong consequences. I'm not the first person to have come forward with a claim like this, although I may have been one of the last to file a claim. There are still lawsuits that are pending because of the actions of the Portland Police Bureau and its leadership. Last week, the Oregonian reported well over $1 million have been paid out to people as a result of this, with Street Route citing almost twice that, $1.7 million being spent on the city's own litigation costs. To my knowledge, none of this is coming from any responsible individuals. They're all being paid out of the city budget, which means we, the taxpayers, are ultimately paying for this. Be it higher taxes, reduced services, lower parking community center budgets, these costs have passed on to every single Portland resident. A yes vote on this agenda may well resolve my specific issue today, but it does not resolve any of the issues that have plagued this city for decades. If you truly do care about the well-being of all Portland residents, I ask that you take this opportunity to not just sweep this under the rug as another cost of doing business, but as a reminder that these are real people being affected by these actions. Thank you for your time, and yes, I will be forwarding a copy of my full statements after the afternoon testimony is finished.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question for the testifier. Just so I can be clear, are you asking council to vote no on this settlement?
No, I'm asking you to vote yes. This is my settlement. This is what I negotiated with, well, through my lawyer.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I wasn't quite clear. Got it.
No, I want you to take a look at this beyond just the settlement to the root causes.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mark Porras.
Mark, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yep. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Mark Porras. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm with the group Portland Cop Watch. We have no objection to the city paying this $26,000 settlement for police misconduct dished out by Officer John Doe on August 23rd, 2020, towards Heather Van Wild, a disabled veteran and independent journalist who is covering the night's protest in the very distinctive pink hard hat with press written in 2-inch tall letters that you just saw. The settlement raises the total, according to our records, paid out by the city for protests between 2018 and 2020 to at least $1,280,405. Street Roots reported on another $166,080 in settlements that apparently never came to council for votes, and more than $1.75 million in the city's own legal fees for cases in 2020 alone. We hope that Ms. Van Wild is fully recovered from her injuries and the psychological harm that the unidentified officer caused her. We continue to object to the minimizing term encounter being used to describe these displays of brutality by city employees in official documents. From court records, we understand that an unidentified Portland police officer moved Ms. Van Wild's walker, which she uses as an assistive device, 10 to 15 feet out of reach, which led to her falling and injuring her knee, shoulder, face, and chest on the sidewalk. The impact of her fall also caused the seal of the gas mask she was wearing to break, and she suffered the effects of tear gas inhalation for 3 days afterwards. Other important information that this case also ought to inform and policy and procedure changes to Portland Police Bureau. Ms. Van Wild had submitted a reasonable accommodation request to PPB 2 weeks prior, requesting minor modifications of crowd dispersal practices in order to prevent PPB from causing her injury while she covered the protests. 2 weeks seems like long enough for the Police Bureau to inform officers that even if they somehow decide it's okay to use force on a member of the media, they must also consider whether that person is living with a disability and has reasonably asked for accommodations so they won't be brutalized while performing their work. We testify on these settlements in an attempt to get you to discuss the policies that keep these lawsuits coming. In this case, we wonder if the city attorney has worked with PPB to modify policies around reasonable accommodations for disabled members of the media covering protests. We wonder if the officer responsible for this settlement knows the city is paying out $26,000 today on their behalf. We wonder if anyone even knows who that officer is, other than the person who clearly has not come forward to accept responsibility. The ordinance states that the total cost to the city to settle the lawsuit is $26,000, which disregards the time and money that risk management and city attorneys spent settling this case. At this point, using the word total in the ordinance is purposefully misleading, considering the aforementioned data Street Roots recently published showing that the city spends more paying its lawyers than it does compensating those who file civil claims. We ask you again to include this information with every settlement so the public has a better understanding of the cost of policing in Portland. And we appreciate that when a $15,000 settlement came before you last month due to PPB's lack of clear policy on evictions, the mayor asked the city attorney if PPB improved policies because of the lawsuit. Despite the fact the city attorney said no, there weren't any policy changes made, we appreciate the engagement and we urge you to engage on this settlement and all future police misconduct settlements that come before you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Next up, we have Haley Nolan in person. Is Haley Nolan here? Okay, that completes testimony.
Very good. This is an emergency ordinance. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Maps?
Aye.
Rubio?
Aye.
Wheeler?
Aye. The ordinance is adopted, and we are adjourned until 2 p.m.